Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my co commentary, Ashton. And this is Week in Review. Now, we've got 2 weeks to cover. I'm not really sweating it because I'm thinking what I'll do, because I usually hate when we have 2 weeks to cover, is we'll touch on what happened the week prior that we missed because I was out of town. And then we'll just kind of tie it into this week, which I think is more prominent in a lot of ways. But before any of that, though, I teased in the Discord, which you should join for $3 a month if you haven't. The description is in Patreon. The Patreon for our Discord is in the description box below. You can see how hyped I am. I can barely speak. We need to talk about AEW to start. That's something I never thought I would say unironically, because Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. So I've actually watched a few clips from AEW this week, which again isn't something I normally do.
No.
I really have to thank Ashton for this as kind of the catalyst, because originally I was just going to watch Shelton Benjamin's debut against Leo Rush, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I should get that out of the way. I thought Benjamin looked great.
Mhm.
I love the way they're treating him. The guy's been in the business 20 years, which is insane to think about. And I think he looked fantastic. I mean, he whooped Leo Rush's ass. He sent that boy on his 85th retirement, probably. I mean, goddamn. It was a great showing. Where I need to complain, and this isn't going to be about, fucking the combat Klux Club, whatever the fuck, the white supremacist faction Marxist got going on. It's instead about Adam Cole and MJF. And I have a personal stake in
I'm
this because,
so glad you brought this up because I wanted to rant about this too, brother. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this.
well, yeah, because, dude, here's the thing. Look, I used to be a big MJF fan, and I still low key have a soft spot for him in his promo style. I just love what a piece of shit this guy is, and it turns out it just bleeds into real life. So who'd have thunk? But here's the thing. I still love Adam Cole, sincerely. I think people have been too hard on Adam Cole in his AEW run, because I think when he was around, he was doing genuinely good TV. I think he's a great promo. I still think he has a great look, despite a lot of comments these days saying, does this guy ever hit a gym or whatever? I don't even think his look is that bad. I actually like his look, because he does have that everyman quality while also somehow having that X factor of, like, that guy's really cool. And I've known Cole, or I've known of him for a long time. I've told you guys before, when I was in Jersey and there was that Force One indie promotion in Jersey, a very young Adam Cole had one of his matches there. And it was one of the best matches on the show, mainly because he got us all out. Like, he's always been a personality. He has always been charismatic. And I really, honestly, I think I will always love him. And I don't think any Cole has surpassed Black and Gold NXT Cole, especially the leader of the Undisputed Era. That guy, to me, was a WrestleMania main eventer waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And I will go to my grave saying that. So I just want to make that clear, that I still love Adam Cole. And I do think people are too hard on him. And I don't even necessarily want to be too hard on either him or MJF in this case. My, like, visceralness goes to the writing. Literally, what the fuck are you doing? So Cole comes out because he's been dealing with an injury, whatever. He comes out, nice pop, whatever. And I'm like, okay, what are we gonna do here? Because clearly the last big thing he did, he formed the faction. What was it, Undisputed Elite or some shit? No, it was something else. Whatever the hell. Stop putting Cole in factions. And you betrayed MJF, so that would have to circle back around. Now you could do a really interesting story here. I even think this is one of those rare cases where you could do heel versus heel, quite honestly. But then in the course of the story, one of the heels, presumably Cole, turns babyface. Nope, they don't do any of that here. It is Cole being a babyface right out of the gate and saying, oh, I did what I did because you guys don't know that the MJF you see, he's even worse behind closed doors. He is the worst human being I've ever seen. And I have to stop there because, again, I love Cole. This is not about Cole or his promo delivery. This is a fundamental problem with AEW. You need to understand that Wrestling 101, okay, well, actually, Wrestling 101 and Wrestling 102 here. So clearly, there are baby faces and heels. Fuck all that shit about, oh, we're in a new age where that doesn't matter. Clearly, it does, because you're trying to manipulate a certain reaction, right? So that's one thing, okay? Because if you really didn't believe that, you would have just had Cole continue to be himself and then have the story proceed organically. You didn't want to take that chance. So there's a crock of shit, and shut the fuck up about it. I never want to hear it again. Second of all, You need to understand that what wrestling fans are going to pay attention to is what's on your product, both in the ring and backstage. Like on your television product, that's what we do. Behind closed doors is such narrative laziness to me because you're telling, not showing. Okay, if you really wanted to show an MJF that like was being deceitful, was being two-faced, whatever, you would show it. Even if you did, and I'll give NXT credit for this because honestly, I'm surprised other wrestling promotions don't do this. When you have like that NXT, like almost like private eye account, that anonymous account that they have sometimes, where they have the camera shots where it looks like nobody's like witnessing that they're being filmed. You could have done that shit with MJF, right? And then Cole could have been
Mhm.
like, I have this footage to show you. This is why I did what I did to Max, because when I was out of earshot, he would shit talk me on the phone or to other people or whatever. But like, you don't do that. You just expect us to believe, oh man, if Cole says it's so fucking lazy and such an insult to the talent, especially of Cole. I know that MJF isn't well received here. Again, I still have the like smallest soft spot for him, but I do think it's just an insult to wrestling talent in general. When you can't even bother to show the narrative that you're constructing and you just tell in to fill the gaps because you don't have the aptitude to do it. Not to mention reports that have come out that AEW is now what Raw was a few years ago, prior to Vince's departure, where it's like, oh, talent don't even know what's happening until the day of. Given this story, I believe it because they know fucking way Cole would have known ahead of time. Okay, I'm just going to be the babyface randomly in this feud because if he did, Cole has been in this business long enough to be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because people remember the feud. I watched their match at All In. Okay, I watched that or All Out, whatever the fucking one was in Wembley. Um, I watched that match. The psychology of that match, there is no way you sell me on Cole being the babyface because in that match, MJF didn't cheat. He didn't exploit a body part. He really wrestled the most honest match that MJF, the character, has ever probably wrestled in his career. Meanwhile, Cole was trying to break his fucking neck. And like I remember the few, I remember the matches, the segments, everything. And so from what I've seen, from what you've shown me, you can't just say, "Oh, behind closed doors, he was so bad. That's why I had to do what I did." No, no, you don't get to put those words in his fucking mouth and drag Cole's stock down real fucking time. On behalf of all Adam Cole fans, fuck you. What a waste of this man's fucking talent that you feed him this fucking horse shit. And so he wants to get his hands on MJF. Okay. And then MJF appears on a Tron, and then he's doing the whole thing, which he's done before. And like here, it could maybe actually be interesting if they handled it right, but of course they don't. Where he says, Cole, I said I was never going to trust. I knew to get into this business, you can't trust anybody and you can't have any friends. But then you happened and I made that mistake. And then when you betrayed me, which I mean, whether you like MJF or not, as a character, he's right. So say it again. When you betrayed me, I just knew it was never going to happen again. And so everything I do, it's not my fault. And see, that's the interesting thing. That's where you should have started as heel versus heel with Cole slowly turning face in the program, not to start the program, because MJF straight up says, whatever I do, it's not on me. It's on you. It's your fault. You did it. And so you could have Cole struggle with this idea of, oh my God, I took it too far this time. You know, I thought it was bad when I betrayed Kyle O'Reilly. What was it? Twice, maybe even three fucking times. But no, like this dude, like I have thoroughly broken this dude and look at the harm he's causing in my name. That's compelling. That's interesting. Like I am begging AEW to know how to tell a fucking story in 2024 with everything we know about the human condition and everything we know that culture and media can be. This is the laziest fucking shit I have ever seen. And then Cole's like, oh well, he literally says you can run, but you can't hide. Like, I'm like, God damn it, dude, I fucking hate this already. Like already just this one segment, this should be a front runner for me for worst feud of the year because nothing good can come of it. When you start on this foundation, nothing good can come from this. But I'm actually going to stop myself because you said you wanted to rant about this too. So what were your feelings about this? Because I was gobsmacked, bro, that they actually fucking did this. What did you think about this?
What specifically gobsmacked you about this? Like when you say that they actually fucking did this, what's the
Well,
this that
I
you're
don't,
referring
I
to?
don't, I think I was pretty clear. Just the idea that they started with Cole as a babyface right out of the
Yeah,
fucking gate, that they didn't
yeah,
even work towards it organically.
yeah,
Like, what the
yeah.
fuck?
Because the last time that we saw, well, and the reason is because again, though, it's like it's this whole thing about Tony Khan booking for the sickos because he expects that everyone who is watching his product keeps up with the storylines that are going on the internet and keeps up with Adam Cole's recovery and keeps up with all that shit, so they're aware of like how tough this has been for him and they're rooting for him basically. So like Adam Cole's face turn basically happened on social media. It didn't happen on the show, it happened on social media. And that's the entire problem with the way that he books. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and dude, this tells me too, and then I want to give you the ball back real quick because I've already ranted enough. But this tells me too that WWE, like even when Vince was there, has a better grasp of this than AEW. Because remember when Seth had his first really big knee injury,
Yeah.
he came back initially to a huge pop. He turned heel in the same segment because he realized like this isn't how I want to be babyface. I'm still a heel. My heel story isn't finished.
Yeah.
How you can just use the injury route, which has been done many times. You and I have been watching wrestling for decades collectively. I get it, but not like this. Adam Cole is what was that year for Seth? 2015. Like he is the Seth Rollins 2015 right now of AEW. Your heel story is not fucking finished. It's not finished.
Or at
So
least
you
it
don't
shouldn't
go.
be, but they've decided that it actually just is.
Yeah, and that it's ridiculous. But anyway, if you have any
No, you're
more,
right
like
though.
again,
It
this is
is.
your time.
It is ridiculous. It's really it's complete nonsense because the last time that we saw Adam Cole, and this is what I was originally going to say before I kind of pivoted to talking about how like his face turn was on social media.
Yes,
The
yes.
last time that we saw Adam Cole, he strung MJF along for months. They had a tag team, and then he betrayed MJF in such a way that it cost him the world title, cost it to Samoa Joe, which again, I like, dude, this. I wish that this all happened within the confines of the same year, but unfortunately, a lot of it happened last like December. Because if you remember, last December there was that whole thing with the devil mask and the build up to the match between MJF and Joe, where that was where Adam turned on MJF and it led to Joe winning the title. And
Yeah.
there was this whole like, why the fuck did Adam wait to betray MJF until he could cost him the title against Samoa Joe rather than getting it for himself?
Yes. Yeah, I remember you saying that at the time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like, you know, Joe gets the title and we get the whole thing with Swerve and all that. But then, like, we get Adam Cole cutting these promos about how this Undisputed Kingdom faction that he made, where it was him and Roderick and Matt Taven and Michael Bennett and Wardlow, and that they were going to take over the company basically, and that Adam was going to go after the world title and Roddy was going to go after, I think at the time, it was the TNT title, and Taven and Bennett were going to go after the tag titles. And that was like their whole plan that they had laid out. And then Adam disappeared from the TV, and everyone else just kind of went separate ways. We haven't seen Wardlow, I don't think, since like March. Wardlow's just been gone.
Yeah.
And Roddy has been doing his own thing, and he has been kind of doing stuff with Taven and Bennett, to be fair, but the three of them don't, or they're very directionless right now. Matter of fact, they're not even really in any kind of title contendership as far as I'm aware. I know that Kyle O'Reilly, who is also again not actually part of that faction, is going after Okada's title, which I believe is um actually no, I'm not even going to try and remember. I can't keep their titles like separated in my mind. I can't remember which one's which. But
Right.
whichever title Okada has is the one that Kyle O'Reilly challenged for on the Battle of the Belt show that's happening right now, and he lost, of course. Um,
Right.
but yeah, like they just kind of completely drop the ball with the entire faction, and it brings me back to another Tony Khan bag fumble, which was the group that was supposed to be revolving around MJF at the time, which I believe was headed by Stokely Hathaway, which was when we first got the Devil Mask introduced, which was that crazy casino ladder match where it was like everyone that was in it was already kind of there except for one person that was like a mystery person, and it ended up being the Devil Mask. But like he came out to sympathy for the devil, and he fucking just climbed up the ladder and won, and nobody knew what he was until the main event when he came out and revealed that it was MJF. And it was the coolest fucking thing ever. And he had this whole faction built around him. And I don't even remember who was in it at this point, but I remember thinking it was dope as fuck. And then they just fucking dropped it. Like MJF was just by himself again within a month, maybe even within a
Yes.
week or two. And the whole rest of the faction just did literally nothing. I think Big Bill might have even been in the faction actually, because the whole rumor was that it was going to be a faction full of people who were sick and tired of being mistreated by Tony Khan, by AEW, basically. And it
Yes.
literally just basically went nowhere, and then eventually got dissolved, and it went nowhere. And like we got Stokely eventually ended up being aligned with Willow and Stat and stuff like that. Like it's like Tony Khan just does not commit to any of these cool ass factions, and like the second that he tries to, it just ends up going nowhere and getting dissolved anyway. And then the factions that he does really fully commit to are the shitty ones, like the fucking Bang Bang Gang and the fucking post cool phase BCC, when they're just not interesting anymore. And now they're turning it into a fucking KKK ripoff. Like Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, it's so
Yeah.
bad, dude. It's so bad. And here's the thing: the 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 worst part to me about AEW is the hardcore AEW fans who are so desperate to not only have an alternative to WWE, which I think is a good thing, but also to basically blow smoke up Tony Khan's ass, that he will literally always have positive feedback no matter how garbage his product gets, because there will always be people looking to blow smoke up his ass. There will always be people looking to tell him how great he did no matter what, because then there can be, if there are 1,000 people yelling at him, and realistically 850 of them are saying you suck, this was garbage, you need to improve, but that 150 is like, oh my god, Tony, you're the best, this was incredible. He can just tune out the 850, pay attention to the 150, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, these 150 people really love my shit, I'm gonna, I need to pay attention to them. But then it's like, dude, you're shrinking your audience. You're booking for our basically like a sixth or a seventh of your audience, and what, by doing that you're shrinking the size of your audience, you're alienating people, and you're going out of your way to take eyes off of your product, because you're going to keep on shrinking the amount of people that think your shit's good. And like those 150 people, then if you make another decision that's going to put out a shitty product, then maybe the 150 becomes 75, maybe the 75 becomes 25, and eventually you're going to be booking for like you and two other people. And it's like, what's the fucking point at that point? That's like, you really need to be willing to accept criticism. And it just seems like not only is he unwilling to accept criticism, but because he always has people giving him that positive feedback, telling him how great he is, how awesome his product is, how great AEW is, he refuses to hear any real criticism. And it's also muddied by just garbage, non-constructive criticism of people just fucking spouting nonsense and trash at him. So it's like he is a one-man basically tyrant, very much Vince McMahon-esque, as much as I know AEW fans would never want to admit that. And he's never going to actually hear valid criticisms of his product because of the blind sort of stands, I guess you could say, who, the sympathizers, that's the word, the sympathizers, the people who will just tell him everything's great no matter what. And the opposite side, where it's just people that are going to tell him that everything's shit no matter what, and call him slurs and shit like that. And so this is how we end up with AEW Dynamite getting like 350,000 people and 450,000 people watching it every week. Like it's really really bad.
Dude, I mean, you need continuity. You need actual storytelling. And the idea that you upended a whole story just so that you could get Cole as the baby, like I hated this. And I really just had to open the show saying,
And
because
you're
again,
specifically talking about Adam Cole and MJF, which again, it's like, yeah, they did a double turn off screen. They returned MJF as a heel, sort of just assuming that the audience would understand that he turned heel because he was betrayed. And they turned Adam Cole face off screen, just assuming that the audience would understand that he's a face now because he went through adversity, and that's about it.
exactly. And
It's
again,
yeah, it's
yeah.
bad.
It's such lazy writing to me. I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, wow, this is such a waste of Cole's talent. This is such a insult to the intelligence of the fans that have been watching this whole program. And dude, here's the thing. I know we're not alone in this because even the comments on the actual video. Now, of course, I didn't read every single comment, but I can tell you, I read several that said that like this story is like ruined. This is wrong. Like Cole's supposed to be the heel, or we just not going to acknowledge what happened. Like comments of that nature
Yeah.
on the actual video of Cole's promo and him and MJF segment. So I know we're not
Oh,
alone in
brother.
this. Thank Christ.
You want to talk about a
Uh,
promo? Oh my God. I saw one of the worst promos of the year this just tonight on Collision.
oh God, from who?
Ricochet.
Oh Jesus! Why do they keep giving him a microphone?
Dude, that is like a universally agreed upon thing in wrestling. Like anyone you talk to, you can say, "What do you think of Ricochet on the mic?" And the answer is, "Don't let him have one," basically. And
Yeah,
Tony just keeps doing it anyway. Tony's just like, you know what I really want to do? I want to have Ricochet wrestle a really fun match with AR Fox, and then I want him to cut a promo afterwards. Yeah.
bro. You know the poetic irony if you're fucking Ricochet. You hated Lucha. Well, you really hated the El Rey Network so much because they stiffed you under contract and stuff, and you wanted to get out of Lucha Underground because you wanted to get the WWE bag or really just be on one of the big organizations because now with AEW up, now he's there.
Because Lucha Underground made his name such a big deal that he could do that.
Exactly, like, he peaked in LU, bro. Like, that's the
He
fucking
really,
like, he
unironically, and
yeah.
dude, we were literally, I believe, you could probably go back, and if you were really thorough, you could probably find a soundbite of us at some point saying, when we found out Ricochet was going to NXT, that we don't think he'd last more than like 5 years in WWE.
Yeah.
Do we know how long he lasted in WWE?
I don't know, I think it was longer than 5 years, to be fair, but
Let's see.
yeah.
He got to WWE in 2018, so it was 6 whole years.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy, dude. That's fucking nuts. Oh my god. That's crazy.
Well, because that's the
Yeah.
thing is like it's literally just if you understand how the WWE works and what they value and what it takes to be a top star in WWE and the type of values that Ricochet has and the sort of ambitions that he has, you understand that this is a guy who wants to be a top star, who doesn't have any of the stuff that WWE looks for in a top star. And those things were always inevitably going to clash. And he was always going to be seeking greener pastures because he was never going to get booked as high or as strongly as he wanted to be. And AEW rolls around, and at that point, it was just a ticking clock. It was more of a matter of when, not if, he left the WWE for AEW. And now he's in AEW, and you know what? It would not surprise me if he was not even in AEW for that long, because he's probably never going to be a main eventer in AEW either, because he's not one of Tony's chosen golden children. He's not a fucking Darby Allin. He's not a Hangman Page. He's not an MJF. He's not one of Tony's chosen one golden children. He's literally the same fucking thing. And this is the tragic irony. He's literally going to end up being the same thing in AEW that he was always going to be in WWE, which is a fun, flippy upper mid Carter for life.
I do wonder if in like Ricochet's mind, because he does have like I don't want to say like he's a narcissist or an egomaniac, but he does, I think, have a higher perception of himself than the business itself does, industry wise.
Yeah.
I wonder if he feels like he's going to do the Cody thing where he has that stint in AEW, but that stint is only to prove to WWE, right, that he can be like a main event guy. Because I've had that thought in my mind,
Oh man,
like
if
the
he really thinks that he can pull and here's the thing though, dude, I shouldn't even be doubting it because in my opinion, Cody never really proved anything. All that he okay, you know what? Actually, what I should really be saying is all Cody ever really proved is that he can trick bookers into booking him like a main eventer. And you know what? The fact that he proved that should have also, I shouldn't have overestimated WWE. And I should have been like, oh, you know what? If he can book Ghetto or Trick, if he can trick Ghetto and if he can trick Tony Khan into booking him like a main eventer, and if he can trick fucking Delirious into booking him like a main eventer, there's nothing preventing Vince and Triple H from booking him like a main eventer too. Because at the end of the day,
yeah,
that's all he didn't get any better on the mic. He didn't get any better in the ring. All that he really got better at was presenting himself like a main eventer and tricking bookers into booking him that way. That's all it really came
yes,
down to. So if Ricochet can somehow pull that off, good fucking luck, brother. But at the end of the day, there is one promotion that has ever had a TV deal where Ricochet was treated like a main eventer, and that was Lucha Motherfucking Underground.
yeah,
And what was the
yeah,
secret? They put a mask on him and they didn't let him talk until he was already so over that it didn't matter how goofy his voice sounded.
exactly. Oh my God.
And even then,
So
they only let him speak in sound bites, basically.
yes. Yes, that's true. That's true. They did. Um, Let me
Do
ask
you know
you, man.
he has a catchphrase now?
Oh God, what's his catchphrase?
He's not from this earth. He's out of this world.
S- No, no. I was gonna say something really mean. No, no, no. Rise above hate. So what did you think about Shelton Benjamin's debut, though? I'm curious what you thought about this because I really did like this. Although I will say I do agree with the critics in the comments of like that video or on Twitter. I saw somebody criticize somewhere where like it was good, but they still have a problem that AEW just fundamentally does not believe in squash matches and that they feel like Shelton should have beaten Leo Rush like a lot quicker.
And
So like
honestly,
I'm
that's pretty much my thoughts because you put a guy like Shelton Benjamin in there with a guy like Leo Rush, and like I I like Leo Rush. I think Leo Rush is extremely talented, but I also think that Leo Rush has a fucking ego and a half to the point that like we know that we've seen this dude literally no sell getting like I don't know if it was power bombed or pile driven through a table on a CZW show a while back. We know that like he was not happy with his place in WWE, even though he's getting featured on TV every week. I, I just know based on what we've seen of him that he has a fucking ego and that he thinks a lot more of himself than kind of similar to Ricochet than the wrestling business probably should or does. And the fact that he went relatively 50-50 to Shelton and then Shelton won, I think is silly because you just look at the two guys and Leo Rush looks really fucking tiny next to Shelton. And there's very little that Leo can do that Shelton can't athletically because we know Shelton's a freak athlete. So to me, when you have big athletic guy versus little athletic guy, and big athletic guy has like a decade more experience than little athletic guy, there's no fucking reason that little athletic guy should really be able to push big athletic guy to the limit the way that Leo did. Unless Tony Khan is really into the idea of giving Leo Rush a push on the tail of this, like who are you building? Who are you trying to make look good here? Who are you trying to give the rub here? Because it felt like it was supposed to be a Shelton Benjamin feature match where you try and get Shelton over and try and put the spotlight on him, but like you basically come out of this feeling like, damn, that Leo Rush guy's really good. He went toe to toe with Shelton Benjamin. And that's not how I feel like you should have been coming out of this match feeling. You should have been coming out of this match feeling like, damn, Shelton Benjamin still got it. That dude hasn't lost a step. What a beast. So it was just really, really horribly booked and I guess agented, if that's a word.
yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I will say, visually, both of them did some really cool stuff. I mean, Sean Benjamin got a super kick at one point in this that I was like, damn. And it
I
was
think
cool
my
seeing him
favorite
bring.
spot in the match was when Leo was going to do the Lope and Shelton caught him with the like the knee kick thing
Yes, that
to
was
the
cool too.
outside. That
Yeah.
was, and I kind of felt bad for Shelton because he did that and then he pretty much landed back first on the outside of the ring. It's like he basically power bombed himself to the outside.
Yes. Yes. Um, I will say too, man, I like that he's using the T-bone again over like pay dirt, like that jumping
Flatliner,
flatliner.
yeah,
Because you know that T-bone, man, he put some stank on it.
yeah, it looks good.
So and also I gotta give props to Mega Ran, who apparently did Shelton Benjamin's theme. I think that theme goes hard as fuck. I actually pulled it up last night. I worked out to it a little bit. I'm like, yeah, good for him because I know Mega Ran a lot like Jay Will, who aka WrestleFlow. They do rapping, for wrestlers
Wrestle
and their
flow,
themes.
flow, flow,
It's good to
yeah,
see these guys breaking into the mainstream and actually being able to do themes for wrestlers. So I
definitely.
hope Josiah Williams. I don't know if he's still contributing themes to wrestlers. I think Grimes has occasionally still like used the theme that Josiah made for him. But it's good to see both guys doing stuff, right? I'm happy for them. So yeah, I'm more positive on Shelton. I saw the whole kerfuffle about like Hangman and Christian and Kip Sabian, like everybody kind of missing their cues and stuff for that match. I'm not gonna really roast that too hard. Guys are allowed to have an off night. It's whatever.
See,
I'm
like that's the
more
kind of
concerned.
stuff
Yeah,
that we're like very sort of forgiving about and very, like we give a lot of God, the word's not coming to me. Help me, please.
we give a pass. Fucking shit. Leeway is
Leeway,
another word.
thank you. Yeah, we give a lot of leeway to stuff like that because it's like miscommunications, are forgivable, and simple stuff like that. It's like, yeah, if it would happen consistently, we would have to start to wonder if there's a root of the problem that could be fixed. But weird like fluky coincidence stuff like this is like, okay, yeah, like it's unfortunate, but there's not much you can do, and as long as it doesn't keep happening, then whatever, move on. But the problem is that the booking is just so consistently terrible, and the story writing and the storylines are so consistently terrible. And really, I think the storylines would be more digestible if the actual booking of them wasn't so awful. Like if we didn't get shit like, you have a debuting Shelton Benjamin and it takes, I want to actually look up and see how long was that Shelton Benjamin Leo Rush match.
I felt like it was like 10 minutes. I could be wrong though.
It was 11. It was 11 minutes.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
took Shelton Benjamin 11 minutes to beat Leo Rush. And again, I just feel like I have to keep saying this. I do like Leo Rush. I think he is a very talented wrestler. That's a guy that you want opening your shows. That's a guy that you want to put against your Ricochets and your Ospreys and your Flamitas and your, Commanders. And like, he's a fun guy who can put on a fun match, and he can, give him I would even make a championship just to put it on him. Make a cruiserweight or a junior heavyweight or a light heavyweight title just so that Leo Rush can be a champion. Because that's the thing. Not only is he really fun in the ring, he can talk too. And he's got a great physique. He's got a lot of really impressive assets. But he's not a dude that should be taking Shelton fucking Benjamin to the limit. He is
Yeah.
150 pounds soaking wet.
Yes. Yeah.
Shelton
I completely
Benjamin
agree.
is like 240, 250. He's
Yeah.
like twice the size of Leo. And the whole thing that you're trying to get over here is that Shelton isn't washed, that Shelton isn't rusty, that Shelton hasn't lost a step. So
Exactly.
why are you letting a younger athletic guy take him to the limit like this? If anything, it would have gotten more of a point across if you would have had Shelton beat the fuck out of Leo. Have Leo do his crazy run the ropes, you can't catch me bullshit, but have Shelton actually catch him to show, oh shit, normally Leo can get away with this, but not against Shelton Benjamin because Shelton's a freak too. That's the kind of shit that you should be doing to get Shelton over because you're not prioritizing Leo Rush right now. Why are you trying to book it so that Leo Rush, of all people, is the one that looks good against Shelton Benjamin? It makes no fucking sense.
It doesn't just affect Shelton singularly, although I completely agree with your points. You want to make the Hurt Syndicate as a whole look
Yeah,
cool,
it
especially
affects MVP too. And
especially
everyone he
when
recruits.
exactly, because it's also going to affect Lashley like retroactively before he even gets there. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, bro. Like they're wanting to recruit Swerve. They're going after Swerve. Now Swerve might resist it first, and if he resists it first, that would imply that he's going to have in-ring stuff with Hurt Syndicate,
Yeah.
which thereby means you want Hurt Syndicate to seem like they can compete with Swerve and be
Yeah.
competent
And
against
well,
Swerve.
and even that's the thing. I know AEW doesn't really follow logic and consistent character motivations at all. But if they did, then Swerve could be like, damn, MVP, your boy Shelton could barely even keep up with Leo Rush. What makes you think he's going to be able to beat me?
Exactly. Exactly.
It took him
You know?
11 minutes to beat Leo Rush, and you think that you can help me? Why don't you help your boy Shelton first, then worry about helping me?
Exactly. Yeah, it just doesn't come off as good as it could, and that's kind of a problem for me. I don't really, yeah. I like the debut for what it was. I think Shelton at 50 fucking years old looks
49, but
fantastic.
still.
40, I mean, yeah, you're kind of splitting hairs at that point, but regardless, like he looks great, and
To be
I'm
honest,
really
I only brought
excited.
it up because I was just staring at his cage match page and it said 49 years old on it, so I just wanted to make sure that we were getting it right.
Well, yeah, and that's fair enough, but I mean, all the same, like to be that age, to be 20 years in the business, and that's the thing too. Like, you have people now calling Shelton a legend, which I
Yeah.
don't think is undeserved, even just for longevity's sake.
Yeah.
And yeah, Leo Rush being that competitive with him, eh. But yeah. Then beyond that, did I see anything else from AEW? Did I hate myself that much this week? I just know the
I
Adam Cole
sure
MJF
did.
stuff. Oh, you sure did. What else did you see? Because
Oh, well,
maybe
dude,
I'll
you got to
jump in if I
remember,
remember.
I went through and I watched all of the highlights from every episode of AEW since the beginning of September.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god. But as far as like this particular week, because I know we have 2 weeks worth of backlog, but I'm not looking to like have a huge AEW discourse. I just know that Adam Cole and MJF really pissed me off, and I needed to rant about that because that was some lazy fucking shit. Um.
Do you want to have another rant because I could probably pack one up here.
Oh. What about what? What happened?
Anna Jay pinned Mariah May tonight.
What the fuck? My God, this fucking company. Oh my God, this fucking company can't get out of its own way. Was it like a surprise pin?
It was as far as like the type of pin, I actually did not catch the actual like what happened. I just know that it happened because I saw a spoiler about it.
My God. I could tell that they wanted, like, ever since her excursion, like, to stardom, they wanted to kind of revamp Anna Jay, which,
Hmm.
again, I don't want to be, like, overly dour or whatever, but I've just never really seen it. Like,
I mean, dude,
why?
we did watch some of her stuff in Stardom, and like I think we saw her late enough in her Stardom run to pretty definitively say that she didn't really get that good in Stardom. Like what people are talking about, OMG, Anna Jay, most improved 2024, and we're just looking at her like, where?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Fuck. Fuck. Um, I don't know what to say to this. I don't know, like, Queen Aminata, who I'm not even gonna say that I've watched a lot of, but I mean, again, you enthusiastically endorsed her recently, and I do hopefully want to find time and the
Oh yeah,
bandwidth to
Queen
go back
Aminata
into
also
it.
lost this week. She got tapped out by Mercedes in an eliminator match.
It's not, of course, because you can't do the upset win. You can't do the upset win with Aminata. No, you gotta give it to Anna Jay. Nothing makes any
Oh,
goddamn
actually, you
sense.
know what? I want to take that back. It wasn't an eliminator match. It was an actual proper TBS championship match. So if Aminata would have won, she would have won the title from Mercedes.
Okay, so that makes it a bit better. But like, why why did Mariah eat a pin from Anna Jay? Like, why?
That was an eliminator match. So it was like, they do these eliminator matches, which is basically just their way of doing number one contenders matches the lazy way, where if you beat the champion, you get a title shot. But if the champion beats you, you're not allowed to challenge the champion again until they lose the title. You're not allowed to challenge for that championship until the champion that beat you loses the title and a new champion is crowned.
Right, okay.
So that's the whole gimmick with the eliminator matches, and that's what Anna Jay versus Mariah May was tonight. So if Mariah would have pinned Anna, she would have not had to deal with her again for her whole title reign. But because Anna won the match, she now gets a title shot at Mariah.
Okay. I don't even really know what to say to any of this. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's utterly absurd. I can understand. Well, I really shouldn't even say that. Jesus Christ, it's kind of like stun locked me. Okay, so I don't really see much in Anna Jay personally. However, who a company values is who a company is going to value, and there's not really much I can do about that, right? So that's how I want to start. But if you're gonna prioritize Anna Jay for whatever reason, whatever, um, why couldn't you have her win like a number one contenders match or like a fatal four way? Like the very concept of these eliminators, I've always agreed with Brock Lesnar, who allegedly said this. I can never really substantiate this, but he said, I feel like if I'm the champion and I get beat, at a certain point, like in my reign, just in a random matchup or whatever, I shouldn't be the champion. And this was in the context of he had just beaten The Rock at SummerSlam, but then The Rock was going to beat him in a non-title match at a live event. Well, why am I the champion then if I'm losing non-title matches? I've always agreed with them. Like I could maybe understand it in the context of say a tag match, right? And they just get pinned like maybe like a quick roll up or something. And even then, it's like but like one on one, and you beat the champion, like no, no. I've never understood this. You should have had Anna Jay become number one contender another way, not at Mariah's expense. And I know like my bias is also showing because I just do not like Anna Jay, but I have no interest in that. And god damn, I miss Mariah and Stardom and I miss Club. I was even thinking the other day, like I really miss Club Venus and I really miss Queen's Quest. And then you tell me stuff like this, and I'm like, yeah, I really miss Club Venus.
Yeah.
Fuck me, dude. Jesus Christ. So yeah, okay. Okay. Anna Jay and Mariah. What else? Is there anything else you want to say about this? Because if you have anything else you want to pop off about, please by all means. But I
No,
just want to
no,
know,
that
like,
was. I
yeah.
mean, it was frustrating, and it was kind of funny actually because Anna Jay pinned Trisha Dora on Rampage this week too, with Mariah on commentary. And
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah, Mariah was on commentary, and she had this really good line after the match, but I forget what it was. Oh, she said something about how Anna should buy her dinner because she's gonna end up on her back thanking her or something like that. It was such a good line. I loved it. I fucking love Mariah, dude. She's amazing.
All right,
Uh,
fair enough.
yeah, that was about it from Rampage that is like relevant. Um, I already kind of talked about a lot of this stuff on 5v5s, so let's see. Is there anything else that's worth chatting about? Jay White is babyface.
Again, something else that I'm kind of like, okay, cool. Like, here's the thing: Jay White as a babyface has intrigued me for a long time, but again, you have to do it the right way. And I don't know. I don't watch AEW, so did this at least have any kind of setup? Anybody that watches AEW regularly has their finger on the
I
pulse?
don't think so. No, it was another. It was kind of like Adam Cole actually, where he just came back and like the people missed him, so he's babyface now.
Cool. This company has no sense of direction or cohesion. Like legitimately, I don't. I'm gonna be an asshole here. You know what? There's no denying it. I'm just gonna be an asshole here. Why is anybody watching this? I I really I don't
I'm
understand.
telling you,
Like,
dude, it's literally people watch this because it's not WWE. People watch this because it's an alternative, and they just are that bitter and angry and jaded by WWE that literally anything else with a major TV deal is something that they are going to enthusiastically watch and give themselves to. And that's why.
bro, I'm this close to saying, and I don't watch this product either, but like very loosely keep track of it better than AEW. I'm dangerously close to saying that TNA probably has better booking than AEW at this point because they're doing Hendry versus Nemeth at fucking Bound for Glory, and like Hendry's the most over guy in that company, so it's a main event that actually makes sense. Like, how the fuck is TNA doing stuff that makes more sense than what you're doing in your company? I mean, again, that's one isolated example, so that hardly proves the case,
Oh
and I
yeah,
should
Bound for Glory
be
is
forget
next
about that.
Saturday too. So
Yeah,
we'll probably be able to report who wins that match live on this show.
yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, I know it's again one example, and that hardly proves a case. But even just from that vantage point, it just feels like TNA is doing better booking right now than fucking AEW. God, Tony, fuck billionaires, guys. Seriously, like he just wanted real life action figures, and when we've been saying that from the beginning, that's not a new talking point. We've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah.
He just wanted fucking human action figures, and this is the result
And
of
get
that.
ready too, because Tony Khan is about to go all in on his chosen Golden Boys because you know who the current TNT champion is, right?
TNT champion? I actually don't.
Jungle Boy.
Okay, so Jungle Boy, and then I know Takeshita's the international champion, which that's actually a decision I agree with, but that's neither here nor
Did you see
there.
how he won it?
Because Kyle Fletcher betrayed Osprey.
Yep, with a screwdriver.
Bro, here's the thing. I didn't see the betrayal. I saw the press conference though after the betrayal, and I'm just like,
Why
I
would
don't
you
even
subject
dislike.
yourself to that?
Bro, you're watching like wrestling. We're both subjecting ourselves to shit that we shouldn't be subjecting ourselves to. But fucking, you know what's funny? I like Aussie Open, but Kyle Fletcher as a singles act, how is he anything more than just another flippy guy? I'm sorry. Again, I don't want to be this mean. I don't want to be the fucking douchebag that's like, wow, John, you're shitting on people that take bumps and fucking,
John, I've really got
all
to
this.
correct you because Osprey isn't just another flippy guy. He's literally Osprey at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I just look, I don't want to be the asshole, but it is what it is. Like I don't really know any other way to fucking say it. I don't know what this I don't know. I don't even know what the identity of this company is besides like not WWE. And if politics has taught me anything, is that being not something isn't fucking good enough, right? Like get your
Holy shit, you're so right. That really is what it is.
yeah,
People who are obsessively anti WWE and pro AEW are not exactly the same because there are obviously huge differences here, but it is very similar to people who are only voting Democrat because they're not Trump.
exactly. And like, okay, I get it to a point. I think there's a far more nuanced conversation to have, as per what Ashton said about the huge differences. But Jesus fucking Christ. Like if you like it because oh it's purely that in ring man or whatever, then go watch old fucking PWG shows. I mean, granted, I don't think anything new's happening because unfortunately Super Dragon's wife or maybe girlfriend has cancer last I heard, so I hope that's going as well as it can. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. But like watch PWG. Again, TNA might actually be better than AEW at this point. I don't know. I'm just thinking it might be a fucking possibility. I don't know if WWE has broken them so much that it's like it's the path of no return, which again, I actually get. I'm sympathetic, but I think WWE is doing some of its best programming right now in a long time. You have options. Like I just can't imagine watching a show that's pretty much run but people dude, I even saw people making jokes like in the comments of the MJF Adam Cole video that like creative must be run by the big show with all the face and heel turns that are happening. Like when people are saying that about your product, even if it's just one person, it always starts with one person, right? I wouldn't be surprised if that criticism spreads to a lot more people if the booking keeps up this way. Like that is just
Dude,
that is
I'm telling you
bad,
right
bro.
now, I don't know. Have you heard about Scott Demore's new promotion?
Scott Demore's doing a new promotion. I heard nothing about this.
Maple Leaf Pro?
Oh, you know what? I've been seeing a little bit of it because they got Mauro Ranallo for commentary, and everybody's been so psyched about that. At least
Yeah,
for one
man. They
show.
had a big show tonight. Miyu Yamashita versus Giselle Shaw?
Jesus Christ.
Commentated by Mauro Ranallo. Can we
I
get
mean,
that promotion a TV deal, please?
it speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean,
I would watch the
God,
shit out of that promotion.
fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. I mean, dude, legitimately, you know that I and actually and an update on this because I started with 5v5s. Soft ground wrestling is now actually following me on Twitter and I'm following them back.
Oh, that's
Um
awesome. Nice.
even that now I do want to say as an aside, I am a bit disappointed, but it's what they want to do, and I just want them to be as legit as possible. Cody really did donate a ring, and they're going to have a world title match inside that ring. So they're no longer going to be using the soft ground. So I don't know if you could still call yourself SGW, but I digress. They're going to be transitioning to a proper ring. We'll see how it goes. But like they even do I saw a clip in their women's division of one woman wrestler attacking another woman's wrestler, like when she was getting done in the shower. Like it wasn't like gratuitous or anything. It wasn't like any nudity, but it was like, yeah, she attacked her in the freaking shower. I think she shoved like a loofah or something in her mouth. And like that at least had more progression and more like, oh wow, that's different than most of the AEW because it's off screen or it's social media. Like learn how is this backyard fed? How do they understand pro wrestling better than this company headed by a billionaire? Like, get your shit together, my dude. Get it fucking together. Yeah, Javaris, you're right. Takeshita versus Speedball was on that show because I saw a clip of that on Twitter. And yeah, I liked Takeshita. I will say on AEW side to give some positive. I do think it's the
Bro.
right move having him as international champion right now.
Speaking of
I think yeah.
Takeshita wrestled Mike Bailey on that Maple Leaf Show Pro that happened tonight.
Yes.
Mike Bailey did a shooting star leg drop.
Oh, see, I know he's done like that weird like flipping knee drop. I didn't know he could do a shooting star like that. That sounds fucking nuts. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
he kept going. He did the shooting star knee drop, but then he flipped his legs out and did a fucking leg drop.
Yeah.
It looked
Yeah.
crazy. It looked crazy. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna post that GIF in our Discord channel. So anyone that wants to see it can join the Discord. Just donate $3 to the Patreon. Ha! I don't know what you just said. You cut out.
Oh, I said hell yeah, but in a very squeaky voice, you know.
Nice. Like hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think Takeshi with the international title fits him like a hand in the glove. So I think that's a good move by AEW. But God, like the fucking booking of this goddamn show.
Oh yeah. Super Blue makes a great point. All of the AEW championships are on heels.
And
Moxley
that
has the world title. Mariah May has the AEW women's world title. Mercedes has the TBS title. Young Bucks have the tag titles. Takeshita has the Intercontinental title or their national title. Perry has the TNT title. Claudio, Pac, and Yuta have the trios titles, and then Kazuchika Okada has the Continental Championship.
Uh, well, and that's not even necessarily a bad thing either. I can understand having your titles on heels, but like the thing is, you've got to build up actual stories and coherent narratives for me to care about the babyface in question taking the title off of the heel.
Oh yeah, that's what I
So,
wanted to get to earlier when I was saying about how get ready because Tony's about to put titles on his chosen golden people, right? So
yeah.
the reason I said that is specifically because I'm guessing that by or at year is it year end or whatever the last show of the year is, the one that Joe beat MJF on last year, like the December 30th or 31st show or whatever
Oh,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah. I forget the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
World's End, I think it was actually.
Yeah. World's End, I think it was. Yeah.
Darby Allin is going to be the world champion. He's going to beat Mox for the world title,
Okay.
and Daniel Garcia is going to beat Jack Perry for the TNT title.
Oh, boy.
And the other big rumor that people are floating around is that they think that Private Party of all people are going to beat the Young Bucks for the tag titles, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. And here's the thing, like Private Party, I like them in the ring, and they even have some narrowed on the bone, but with the BCC, like why don't we have BCC members win tag
Oh
over and
yeah.
Private Party beat them? Because Moxley was the one that shattered what was it, Isaiah Cassidy's fucking hand,
Oh, I
and
mean, you
like
say that, but they were back in wrestling 2 weeks later with literally not even a cast on his hand. So,
everything.
for those of you who couldn't hear John, because I know he did cut out the, he went, I hate everything.
Like, just let me die. Fuck. Oh my god. See, there's no excuse for this though. There's just there's no
No, I
excuse
mean,
for
there's
this.
never been an excuse for it. It's the reason for it is literally just Tony Khan's ego. Tony Khan's ego and Tony Khan's and here's the thing, we actually got a little bit of proof of Tony Khan's ego this week because there were some people on the internet who were kind enough to leak some stories on Wade Keller's Patreon, I believe it was. And literally, Tony Khan. Do you remember that week when it was Jack Perry's big return to AEW right after they aired the footage of his little backstage thing with Punk, and it was the main event of the show, and Tony was going to come out to the ring with Jack Perry and publicly forgive him, basically, but then Perry like kicked him and fucking pile drove him and shit, and then like
Yeah.
Tony was like in a fucking net cast for like a week.
Oh yeah, I know that was right, and it was kind of like wearing it in places, like,
Yeah.
and not even like,
So
yeah.
a story came out about that recently. It might have even been this week. That apparently the reason that that story got dropped was because the original plan was for the Bucks and Perry, the elite, the new elite at that time, to in kayfabe on the show take control of the show. But the reason they dropped it is because Tony Khan does not want anyone but Tony Khan to get credit for what's being shown on TV.
What the fuck? Yeah, I know. I gotta actually say things at a normal volume rather than being the exasperated feeling that I'm genuinely feeling. What the fuck? The narcissism,
Yeah.
the fucking ego, like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I hate it here. I hate it here. Because here's the thing, WWE is doing good stuff right now. That doesn't mean I don't want them to be competed with. Like, I want good wrestling everywhere, and I think a big
See, that's
reason
what
way
I
you
keep
achieve,
saying
yeah.
is like I want AEW to succeed, which is exactly why I want Tony Khan to fucking delegate.
Yes. Yes. You cannot do this on your own, nor can you autonomously like empower a lot of your workers who just don't have the ability to either cut their own promos or further their own angles. Some people do, and it's your job to discern the difference because that's what we call a main event talent, in my opinion.
Oh,
But not everybody has that gift.
yeah.
Discern who does and act fucking according. Like, why am I telling you
Can I read
this?
this excerpt?
Of course you can. Yeah, I thought you were about to say excrement. I'm like, yeah, you could do that too, and that's not too far off.
I
So
don't talk like
yeah.
that, but yeah, Keller, that Young Bucks storyline where they took where they used their EVP powers to try to take over where Tony Khan was gone in the neck brace. That storyline kind of fizzled because Tony Khan did not want, even in storyline, viewers to think he wasn't responsible for everything happening on the shows. And this is a quote now. The extent to which Tony wants credit, and this is just kind of crazy, but that Young Bucks storyline where they used their EVP powers to try to take over when Tony Khan was gone and in the neck brace. That storyline kind of fizzled because Tony Khan did not want, even in storyline, viewers to think he wasn't responsible for everything happening on the shows. And it just ran out of steam because everybody lost interest because there's no way to do the angle. As originally conceived, if the Bucks did have control and Tony Khan didn't even want in storyline someone else booking the show, even if he was approving all the decisions that the Bucks did in character. So basically, some people are shocked because it seemed to come out of nowhere because he was well liked and respected. And I also read from Brian Alvarez that apparently many AEW roster members, and by the way, this is like more recent. This wasn't from something from that long ago. This is more recent. Um, Apparently many AEW roster members have no idea what they are doing for a show until the day of. Tell me if this doesn't sound familiar, Vince-esque.
Yes.
And that Tony Khan is booking show to show. Tony switched the script on yesterday's pay-per-view. This is referring to Wrestle Dream, which just happened 6 days ago. Switched the script on yesterday's pay-per-view multiple times during the afternoon. Most people, not just the wrestlers, have no idea what they're doing until the day of the show, and sometimes not until an hour or so before the show. People are flown to towns and given nothing to do. Others are begged the day before the show to please get to the town so they can do something last minute. He knows what he wants to do for pay-per-views, although this often changes. But as far as week-to-week TV, everything is booked show to show. for most people, he's incredibly difficult to get a hold of. In some ways, it legitimately is more like WWE. I'm sorry, I said too many W's, but 2019 in WWE than it is to AEW around that time, where he was much easier to get a hold of. He had very complex long term storytelling. Many people had a good idea of what they were doing and where things were going, and often most of the following week's entire Dynamite card was booked and announced before the previous week's Dynamite card had even ended. He even mentioned when Excalibur would run down 24 matches in 30 seconds for the following week. It's night and day, the changes, and people who work for the company in all roles, from the wrestlers to the office, talk about it all the time.
Oh, and dude, that's the thing. If Tony would have been smart from the get-go and he would have bankrolled this, but been like an invisible presence, and like you said it perfectly. If
It's
he
Bushy
had
Road all
delegated,
over again. Oh God.
yeah, if he had delegated with his money. Listen, I don't really know much about wrestling except that I love wrestling and I want the best people to write it. What is the status of Freddie Prinze Jr.'s promotion, by the way? Have we
No
heard
clue.
anything about that in a while?
I haven't caught up with his podcast recently. I'd like to.
Yeah, because like that's another one. Like Tony, man, I'm telling you, it's fucking sinking, my man. Like, I don't, like, fuck, fuck. If you just would have gotten out of your own way and been like, I'm gonna bankroll these people to do the best fucking wrestling show imaginable, you might have actually really had something because he is a very wealthy guy. There's no reason why if you didn't get guys that would have been like, Tony, we want to make these guys and these girls by year's end. We want to do this and this. We have this really cool idea for this character. It's going to be a bit of a higher budget though because this character is going to require more special effects. He could have been like, sure, yeah, just give me the best show possible, and he might have been able to do something. But because he had to be so intimately involved, rather than just writing the checks and checking in and being like, hey, I'm noticing, we're not making as much money. What's the problem here and stuff like that, like plumbing more or less. But you're involved at every step of the process, and it's like it's just not working. It's just not fucking working. Um, so yeah, that is AEW, and we went live like I want to say I feel like 10:50 or so. And we're almost spending an hour just on AEW alone. So let's get to WWE stuff.
By the way, I do
And
want to
me,
just say before we move on, in
yes.
terms of ratings, because I do think that ratings are telling to some degree. Um, AEW's rating this week for Dynamite was 633,000 viewers.
Oh wow, oof.
I mean, you say oof, but the week before that, the week that they ran on Tuesday and they went head to head with NXT for an hour, it
Yeah.
was 329,000.
Oh, slaughtered them.
Yeah,
Oh fuck.
yeah,
Jesus. Yeah, it's not good.
no.
It's not good. Um,
And NXT won this week too. Like I know that I mentioned that like AEW was like six something. NXT was also six something, but it was higher. It was like let's see, AEW was 633, NXT was 639. AEW did win in the demo though by .02.
okay.
So
I mean, cool, but long term, we could see what the trends are, and we could see what's happening. I don't know, man. I just yeah, it's just not good.
yeah,
But
NXT popped a really nice rating with Trick. Um, the first show on CW and then the second week on the CW Trick. Um, and well, with Punk showing up and then Orton showing up, they were, I think, right around. Actually, they they might have even popped 800K. Let me check real quick because I know Fightful keeps track of this shit.
right.
Oh, they didn't go. Oh, here we go. Okay, yeah. So the first show on CW was really close to 900K. It was 895, and then the second show with Orton on it was 874. And then this week they fell back down to earth at 639.
Okay.
So
You had mentioned NXT. I mean, yeah, things are happening there. Um, Trek again, as you said, new NXT champion. I thought that was a pretty fun matchup. But I think the weekend review for Halloween Havoc, we did cover that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
The two episodes of NXT that we'd be covering for this week in review are the one that Orton and Javon main evented, and this week's episode.
Yes, and as far as this week's episode, because I did watch that, I had a lot of fun with you guys watching that. I mean, we know Ethan Page is the number one contender, which I expected. I straight up called it in the Discord. He does win
You
the
did,
triple
yeah.
threat.
You really
Yeah,
did call it, and you should be proud of yourself because I really was in just straight up denial and didn't want to see it, but you called it real well.
that's why I called it early, man, because I knew you and others wouldn't want to see it, and that's why I don't mind being the bad guy, because it's like, okay, we'll just lay it all on me. But yeah, it was a really fun triple threat though. I have to give all three guys, including Ethan, credit. I had a lot of fun with the triple threat. It was a great time. Really, I have to give credit to Ethan because it surprised me how fluid that Oklahoma roll was into the finish. He pins Javon Evans just out of nowhere with it. Uh, After what does he call that finish again? Middle of the road or something. That
Whose finish is this now?
Javon Evans finish on he hit it on Wesley. That corkscrew press.
Oh,
Isn't it middle of the road or something?
I don't remember.
I feel like it's middle of the road. I'm probably wrong about that. But anyway, yeah. So Ethan gets the win. He calls Trick out. He's like, "Come on, Trick, get out here." Um, and Trick does get out here, and they spin the wheel, and it ends up being a Devil's Playground match. And so what you told me Ashton, was that's apparently like just pretty much like a hardcore match, but like falls count anywhere as well.
Apparently,
And
yeah,
then
with props.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Trick is like, "Oh, I'm not sweating it, whatever." And I'm not scared of him. And then out of nowhere, like Ethan just blasts him with some kind of object. And then he's like, "Oh, Trick, you're gonna see the devil inside of me, kind of thing." And it's like, "Oh, okay." And then he just kind of posed with the title, doing his whole smile thing. I just think Trick wins this and we definitively end the feud.
Please.
Yeah, I don't think Trick is. I think this title reign for Trick is going to be a lot longer than his first one. Like, I think this is the title reign of Trick Williams, guys. So I would
I
get
don't
comfortable.
know about that. I wouldn't bet money on Trick having a longer title run this time than the last one because he's got Oba breathing down his neck, bro.
Well, I mean, not yet. I mean, I think he will eventually, and I think that's fundamentally your point. I do agree, but yeah, hopefully they just get the match out of the way, and then
I think
Ethan.
this
I
is
don't
going
know
to be
really
like
know
a
what Ethan does.
3 or 4 month reign. Let me put it that way.
That's respectable. I could see it going five
I
to six. I'll go.
I
I'll
was
go a
just
little
gonna
bit
say
longer.
I
Yeah.
could see it extending to 6 if they want to have him hold it until Stand and Deliver 2025. I could understand that.
Oh, it's called Hold It in the Road. Okay, so I knew Road was in there. Okay, I was still off though.
How
Hold It in
long
the
was
Road.
his
Okay.
previous reign?
I'm not sure. Didn't feel that long. I felt like it was only 3 to 4 months, right? If that even.
Well, now I gotta look it up. Shit. It's 2.5 months. Damn, I didn't realize it was that short. Okay, then I do agree with you that this is gonna be a longer reign. I just didn't realize how short his last one was. I thought his last reign was like 5 months long. Shit.
Yeah. Um. So Hold It in the Road. Okay, I gotta remember that because I know I'm just gonna ask again like next
Hold
week or in
it
2 weeks
in
or
the
whenever.
road.
Yeah, Javon becomes does something really relevant here. But yeah, that's cool for them. Then you've got Oba and Tony kind of doing their thing. What do you think about them? Okay, so we have Tony who beat Oba for the title, and you said like even though like you didn't agree with it, and I'm sure your burner account had a lot of thoughts about it. That you know, you get it because it was like Tony had caught Oba. And if they were gonna have Oba lose the title, that's the way to do it. He caught him for 3 seconds, and he surprised him, and he won the title. I heard it was a good match. I think didn't you even say you thought it might have been better than the No Mercy match? I don't want to put words in your
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah.
Yeah, I still have to go back and watch it because especially when I'm putting together like year-end awards and everything, should be interesting how that all shakes out. But now, Tony is kind of doing a celebration type thing and he says, "Oh, I wanted to bring the family out here because because it's them or it's because of them." And Oba comes out, and first of all, his drip is
Oh my
unfucking
god,
deniable.
11 out of 10.
I mean, dude, Jesus Christ. But yeah, he comes
Untouchable.
out looking amazing, dressed to the nine, or I guess in your words, dressed to the 11 out of 10. And he congratulates Tony, which I like. but he doesn't mince words. He does say he's going to get his title back, and his family's not going to be able to help him. And then he spins the wheel. And I really couldn't wait to talk to you about this week. They are doing a tables, ladders, and scares match.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, man, because look, anybody that knows Ashton, right? I know you don't like ladder matches.
And that's
And
effectively what this is, because TLC matches, the whole like central concept of the match is effectively just a ladder match, because you hang the thing above the ring and you have to climb the ladder to get it, right?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So knowing that, but knowing that you've liked the work that these two have done together, I just here's my thing, right? It's just so weird for me, not necessarily bad, just weird that you've got two hosses doing this. In fact, if I'm being honest, I would have thought that you would have flipped the steps, and by which I mean I would have thought
Give
that
this to Trick Ethan too, and give the Falls Count Anywhere match to Oba Tony.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So how do you feel about these guys that are normally known for like their power wrestling and just having hoss matches together, doing a fucking ladder match?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know the answer already. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, do you think though, like, because you know that my favorite ladder match, and not just because John Morrison's in it, but because there was
Do you know
genuine
what would
selling
make
and
me like this
psychology.
though, I think?
Yeah. What was that?
If they would do kind of an Ishii Suzuki where they just beat the fuck out of each other and they use all of the weapons, they use the ladder, or they use the ladders and they use the stairs and they use the tables and they use all these weapons and beat the fuck out of each other and they just really go at it. And then the first time either one of them even attempts to climb a ladder to get the world title or to get the North American title is the only time, because they just get it and they win.
I agree with you. I think it'd be smart for them to do it because look, these guys aren't fucking cruiserweights. They're not gonna do like the false finish type spots where I'm on the ladder, my fingers are caressing the title. Oh, got pushed off. Oh, we're doing this stuff. Like, I would rather they just slug it out and then they almost treat it like a last man standing match, but with a ladder. Because when the guy's incapacitated, then you climb, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm surprised.
I'm
I'm
picking
surprised you
Tony to
missed it.
win to retain, but I still have hope that Oba regains.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, look, man, I came to this conversation in the wrong mood and the wrong energy because been watching some mob stuff again lately, and I haven't really taken my foot off. Did you just sigh? Because I think you know
No,
where this is
I
going.
gasped.
Oh, okay.
I went,
Um,
oh,
but yeah, like first of all, I stand by that there is something incredibly soothing about Joe Pesci dying in media. I mean, Casino, brutal but hilarious. But like I'm watching that, and I really haven't taken my foot off the gas of the initial thought that Tony's gonna get whacked. I mean, I don't know, man. I've eased up on it a bit now that he's won the
why
title.
won't the family be able to help him?
See, I don't. That's a good question because
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 that
even
was the
Rizzo.
thing that tripped me up. Because like Oba said that so confidently, like he laid out a plan or like he knew something that we and Tony don't know, and I just want to know why.
Yeah, dude. I maybe because he has inside information. Maybe Tony D'Angelo is the Joe Pesci of this entire
I mean, he
equation. We
is a
don't know.
Nigerian king. I've heard that they do scam some things, so maybe he has insider trading information.
Maybe. I mean, even Rizzo out loud was like, "What's he talking about?" And like, nobody knows, man. But yeah, I think this is gonna be interesting. This is
Isn't Halloween Havoc in like,
what is it? 2 weeks? I thought.
yeah, like well, not even 2 full weeks anymore because it's on a Tuesday, like it's on a proper episode of NXT, right?
Is
Or is it
it?
a
I I,
PLE?
I thought it was a PLE.
Bro, well, if it's a PLE, then it's in like 8 days, a week and a day,
That's crazy.
or yeah, yeah, because it's a Sunday, right? Hello?
Well, I was hearing your mom talk, so I was wondering if you were gonna relay that back to us. I didn't want
Oh
to
yeah,
interrupt
yeah.
her.
No, she's talking because we could have gone to Halloween Havoc and be there in person because it's in Hershey, PA.
Okay,
So it's
but it
literally
is a
like
PL.
a
Yeah,
half-hour drive for us. So we could have gone there, and the reason we didn't is because of cost and finances, because we were like deep in debt already, and we're not trying to go further in fucking debt.
right.
But what
but
literally like they were offering like double tickets. Like you could literally have bought a double ticket where you could go to NXT Halloween Havoc and Monday Night Raw the next night
that's
because they're
crazy.
both in Hershey.
So, Super Blue's confirming that, yeah, it is a PLE, so I'm guessing
Yeah,
it's a PLE on Sunday then, right?
yeah,
Like,
I do believe it is Sunday. Yeah.
okay, okay, all right.
I'm gonna look it up just to
Interesting.
confirm, and yes, it is the Sunday the 27th. So it's in. Well, now that it's after midnight, it is exactly a week away.
All right, well, I can say that, that match will definitely want to react to. I am also curious to see Trick versus Ethan in Devil's Playground.
Honestly, I feel like we
Yeah.
should react to the whole show
I mean, yeah, it's kind of looking that way. Just
because
because,
like
yeah, it's,
Ethan
yeah.
Page can get fucked, but that's probably main eventing, so we could just dip early if we really want.
Yeah, there you go. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just to circle back to this matchup. I'm just really surprised that you give two hosses like this a stip like that.
Yeah.
But I believe in these two guys, and again, like I was gearing up to say earlier, you all know I've said it repeatedly on here throughout the TwitWoW annals. Back in 2010, I thought John Morrison and Sheamus did a great fucking ladder match because Sheamus was the bigger guy and Morrison was the flippy guy. But they did psychology where it's like Sheamus targeted the knee and the leg of Morrison the entire time. And I thought it was one of the more creative ladder matches that actually brought coherence into the stipulation that isn't just, okay, let's do spot A through Z and then go home with the finish. Like, no, there was actual like linearity to it. There was a story to it. Again, psychology in a
The
word.
match felt like a journey.
Yeah, I think these two could do something similar. But again, it's even more interesting because there is no flippy guy in this equation. It'd be like if Mark Henry and Big Show were doing a fucking ladder match. Like, it's just okay, we'll kill each other and then we'll get our giant gold ladder and we'll ascend and we'll do whatever the fuck. Um, yeah. And yeah, Foster said plus it does require the title being brought down. Oba doesn't need to take a pin. That is true. That's another good advantage of the stip is that at least Oba isn't going to get pinned again if he loses. This is more
Yeah.
just who could take a title from up above. So
I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But to scale back, you said that Javon Orton main evented NXT
Last
last
week's
week.
show, yeah.
He was in the main event this week in the triple threat. He took L's in both main events, but at least Javon is being associated with the main event picture, so
Why
that's
is
got to be a
Javon
win.
Evans getting buried, man?
Well, we got to focus on important things like Ethan Page. Um,
Ew.
God, grossing you out was worth it. But anyway, yes.
No.
Disagree. Yes.
Incorrectly.
Oh, maybe. But anyway, yeah. Javon and Orton. I did not see this, but I heard it was okay. I think you even said that it was kind of weird, like in a way, because Javon was going for a move and then Orton just kind of RKO'd him and that was it. And then Javon
Well,
afterwards,
the
like,
thing
picking him
is,
up.
Javon
Yeah.
went for his finisher, like the exact finisher that you were trying to remember the name of earlier, and
Yeah.
Orton went for an RKO out of it, and it would have looked dope as fuck if it would have connected. But Javon either didn't like get enough distance on his move, or Orton wasn't close enough to the turnbuckle positioning wise, and Orton ended up. It looked like a video game glitch
Oh, okay.
because Orton RKO'd air and Javon just landed on his fucking chest. So
Damn.
because it didn't look good, Orton picked Javon up and gave him like a proper RKO.
That's nuts, bro.
It was pretty bad, but Orton's a pro, so of course he's gonna pull him up and give him a proper one and not just pin him off of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, fuck. So yeah, that happened. And again,
It's one
Javon,
of
it
those
was
things where it was just a spacing issue. Because if Orton would have been closer, or if Javon would have jumped further, Orton would have caught him in such a way that stopped his momentum, and it would have looked incredible. Like it was high risk, high reward. But yeah, unfortunately, the risk part is what we got to see because it looked pretty bad.
but then ultimately, if you think about it, this was really Randy Orton's story because after the match, Javon keeps saying to Orton as Orton's helping him up, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And Orton, rather than saying stupid, 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 he said, it's okay. And he hugged him. So it's a full circle journey for Orton. He finally learned, like, how to,
Congratulations on character growth, Randall.
I mean, kind of unironically, yeah. I mean, we do try and encourage it in everybody. So if it happens, cool. I mean, yeah, Orton has said that like him being friends with New Day really helped him kind of, grow as a person, which, wow, who would have thought if you get outside of your ideological bubble and just your social bubble and you connect with people that aren't like you kind of become richer for the experience. Wow. So cool, Randall. Cool. Happy for you. Um, exactly. Um, God. Okay, so let me just go back here because again, like I said, I usually hate when we have 2 weeks worth of coverage. I'm not going to worry too much about this. The Black Excellence photo op last week was cool as fuck. I'm here for it. Um, Fatal Influence lost a 6-woman tag to Bianca, Jade, and Kalani. What a fucking trio.
Right?
Um, they do continue to pursue Kalani, and this is what I meant about like how I wanted to deal with 2 weeks is just connecting the threads when we saw them. This week, Fatal Influence wanted to continue to pursue Kalani, and so yeah, they have been like, oh, if you're offering opportunities because it ties to Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, which we'll get to a bit later. We want a shot at the Women's North American Championship. Ava says no, but then she's like, oh wait, you really want an opportunity? Then select two of you in your little Fatal Influence faction to go against Julia and Stephanie next week. And they're like, oh, fine. And then I think Fallon
Hooray!
signed them up for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, cool. After that, we get, and then again, this is going back to last week. We get a explanation for Cora Jade, her and Roxanne Perez in the ring together. Cool, whatever. Roxanne is delusional because she says, and I love her to death, but I'm saying as a character, she's delusional because she said, Cora, I actually had to pop because I am so broken as a person and I've seen so much wrestling that like you put those two things together and I'm just gonna be the fly in everybody's punch bowl. Cause she's like, Cora, this title tore us apart, but I have a feeling this title's gonna bring us back together. And all I could think was, oh, I bet you do. And you do think it's going to bring you back together. You want me to show you how that works in the end? Be fucking serious. So, yeah, clearly Cora only wants to get close to the title because she thinks she should be a women's champion. I do not believe her for a second. I do not believe sincerity. Remember, people, remember, Carmelo Hayes taught us an important lesson. When one of your friends is world champion, the friendship dies. Fake friend asses proliferate throughout the entirety of NXT. And given that the New Day is also disintegrating low key, friendship may just not exist in general in WWE. It may just be a lie. So when you open your heart to someone, oh, and if you don't believe me, take it from Kevin Owens, who, believe me, we will get to him, and I have extensive things to say. And by say,
Dude,
I mean
I saw
huge.
you tweet something that I wanted to talk about tonight, and now I feel like we're gonna just end up like you're just gonna bring it up, and I'm just gonna have to be like, yeah.
Yeah. But no, we will. Kevin's getting his own fucking segment, okay? Because at least one entity needs to treat him correctly, and I'll be damned if it's not TwitWoW. But he has to wait because we have inferior people to talk about, but who are also talented, but still not Kevin Owens. But yeah, I mean, friendship's a lie. So don't trust other people. Don't open your heart, particularly in WWE, not in life, because life is healthier apparently. But yeah, in WWE, no. Don't open your heart. Don't be vulnerable. Don't be in it. Don't be a fucking mark. Don't believe in friendship. Are you stupid? No. It's you. It's you. You live alone, you die alone. And if Roxanne's like, oh, finally, I've got an ally. Yeah, then you really are fucking 22 because are you wet behind? You've got a whole ocean behind your ears. God damn. Jesus fucking Christ. Um, so yeah, after that, God, I hope Foster isn't here because I probably just depressed the fuck out of him and I love him so much. Oh God, he
He
is
is
here,
here.
Foster. I am so sorry. I love you, Foster, so much. I am so sorry. Oh God. Um, but yeah, then Julia and Stephanie.
He said
Well,
no
first
quarter
Julia
couch
comes
crew
in.
are friends, aren't they? I can't tell.
They better be. I swear to God, if Charles gives any grief to Mother Hen Ren, I will pitch a fit. Um, so Julia comes out, she tries to do Julia things, but then she remembers, oh shit, this isn't Stardom. I've low-key been nerfed. And they kind of get the numbers on her until Stephanie Vaquer shows up. And she evens the odds. So I've already
Bro,
kind of
she
tied the
she got nerfed in Monty Gold, and now she got nerfed even further in NXT. She's really reduced in power at this point.
why is my power diminishing? I want it to be Asuka. And shrinks. But yes,
Oh man.
we know that these two are going to be tagging up against Cora Jade and Roxanne at Halloween Havoc. We know that they're going to be facing two members of Fatal Influence next week. But to tie the last thread together so that we can make these 2 weeks of coverage as painless as possible, we also know that Stephanie Vaquer this week debuted against Ren Sinclair in dominant fashion. Do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts about this? Because I only saw the tail end of this
No,
match.
I was just thinking about how Julia went from S tier in Stardom to A plus tier in Gold to A minus tier in NXT.
Oh my god, which means what is she gonna be B minus when she goes over to SmackDown in a few years after she's had
Actually,
the Raw experience?
I corrected myself in my mind and then I said it wrong out loud. It's just A tier in NXT, so it'll be A minus on the main roster.
Yeah. Javara's referred to Roxanne as Sweet Pea in the chat. What the fuck? Um,
She
so
is
yeah, that
adorable though. That those are the type of names that I think of when I see her face too.
you all need to get it together. Am I the only one
But
that has
she's
it together?
so cute.
I'm the most mentally ill one here. How am I the one with the most of it together?
She's
Jesus Christ.
precious, John. Look at her face.
Yeah, did you hear her toot behind the
I just
face?
want
Because
to
I
pinch
did.
her cheeks and not the
I
butt
bet you
ones
do.
either.
You and Kirby's fucking pocket thing that he's got going on. Uh,
It's unironically though. Let's get Roxanne in Kirby Freeman's pockets with Komomo Minami.
what's wrong with you people? I mean, sure, okay. I'm not. See, the thing is, what makes me weird is you say that suggestion, and I don't immediately say no because I'm like, it probably is warm in there, and cozy. I want to be in Kirby's pocket. Um, Nobody cares about the NXT tag titles. Fuck off, dweebs. I'm not talking about that.
I think
Nobody
Roxanne
cares.
Perez gives me the kind of cute aggression that I used to get with Himeka.
You know what? That makes sense.
Like I
Okay,
kind of
so yeah,
I kind of want to bite her nose off. I'm just saying.
calm the fuck. What? What are you? What?
Listen, it's just the cute aggression talking. It's not a real thing.
Get help. So
You say
I
that as if you've never gotten cute aggression before.
I mean, I have, but look, take it as a man that doesn't really know how to keep certain things private. Don't beat me right now. Okay? It does not end
It's
well.
not even a
Okay?
cannibalistic thing. It's like, the grandmas see the little kids and I'm like, I could just eat you up. It's that kind of thing.
So you're just gonna leave the nose on the ground after you bite it off? You're not even gonna like
I
use it?
wouldn't actually
That's
do it, goofball.
well, sure, okay. But anyway, we've wrapped up the NXT with Randy Orton and Javon because the rest of the stuff was skippable crap. So now we can focus on this week in NXT just very quickly. We already talked about the main event triple threat. We already talked about Tony's celebration. Stephanie Vaquer's debut. Wow, we might almost be done here. That'd be oh my god. Do I even want to talk about this?
Yes, what was
Um,
it?
Mensa versus King.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I mean King. Them trying to maybe make King baby. It's weird. It's weird. Okay.
I hate it
Um,
so much, dude. It feels fake. It feels like he's putting on a front to try and like get women or something. I don't fucking know. I don't like it. I hate it.
Yeah, it's awkward to me too, bud. You know what else is awkward to me? Nikita Lyons.
Oh my god, she's awful.
Yeah, Donald
They
Rump is
really went
back.
out and found someone worse than Naya.
Yeah, wow, wow, man. I hope Naya sleeps again for like the next 48 hours because man, all those girls will probably keep her up at night. Deservedly so. She sucks. But yeah, Nikita. God, and as somebody that like Lola finally turned a corner with me, just to see her back in this kind of spot on the card, it's a bit disheartening. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Um, you know what else is fucking disheartening? The idea that fucking Riley Osborne was competitive with Rich Holland, but at least Rich Holland won, thank Christ. And then Andre Chase came back, so can't wait to see him, get fucking
Honestly, even
thrown in there
Andre
several games.
being competitive with Ridge is weird. It should be Duke. Duke should be the fucking ace in the hole for Chase U. Why do they pretend like Andre Chase has a higher fucking power level than Duke Hudson?
Learn how hierarchy works, Ashton. He's the headmaster. Clearly, he's gonna be stronger. Duh.
But he's not stronger. He's more experienced. I'll give you that. But like the whole purpose of the school is for him to impart his wisdom on this fucking vessel, this fucking chiseled marble man, so that the big man has the knowledge and he can be the complete fucking unit that he can just go around and dominate people. Why are they not doing that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
Fuck.
NXT just yeah. What? It's not my fault, man. I feel like you were about to say something to me. It's not my fault. I didn't write this show.
No, I'm just frustrated because I feel like Duke Hudson has been doing nothing for like 8 years now, and he's a really fucking good talent.
I don't know whether this is commendable of Duke or not. I'm amazed he's still with the company, bro. Because
Dude, right?
like, like no,
He's
and
literally just another Dijak. It's like, how are you not pushing this man?
like, and this is me being serious now because we've had our fun, and I'll
Is it the
turn up again in a
pepperoni?
few moments.
Never
But
mind.
is it the what?
Nipples.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe WWE is weird, bro. You never know. But no, like to be serious for a second, because I've turned up and I will turn up again. But just to give Duke his due, like he's a really solid competitor. Has a great build, great size. The stuff he can do in the ring is nuts for his size. Again, like you said,
Yeah.
he's Dijak light because Dijak's a whole other level of insane. But Duke's got it, man. I really do. And honestly, he might even be a better personality than Dijak, in my opinion, just as far as talking and stuff goes, and like affability,
Yeah.
just that likability.
That
So
comes
in
with
in a
being
way,
Australian, mate.
yeah, I mean, in a way, Duke might even pull ahead. I mean, hell, I one of my favorite NXT moments of all time is just him being a douche with Indy Hartwell, reminding her of their past relationship, and she's like, "We're not that way anymore, Duke," and he's just like, "It doesn't have to be." Like, yeah, don't give a fuck. But no,
And
this
then
this this
Steph Delander got with him out of spite because
yeah.
of Andy being with Dexter. I loved that storyline, and he's somehow in even worse position on the card than he was then.
Yeah, it
Remember
happens.
when he was on the main roster with a manager in a tag team briefly?
Yeah. God, remember when he was on those fucking promos for Must Be Monday? And like, they even had him be a part of that. And it's like, wow, maybe they actually have plans for this guy in this company. And no, they didn't. You deluded yourself. Congratulations. Because yeah, he just went fucking nowhere. But it's a shame because
Oh
he's
yeah, it was
got all
him
the
and
goods.
Shane Thorne.
Oh yeah, that's right. God, that feels like a lifetime ago, bro. Jesus
They were
Christ.
managed by MVP.
Not anymore.
Fuck
So you gonna be okay?
no.
Okay. So Tatum Paxley, got in something with Wendy Chu. I guess you all right?
No, I said no already.
Well, I can't tend to your wounds right now. We're kind of doing a recap here. Uh, so Tatum Paxley beats Wendy Chu.
I
Apparently, this
miss
happened to
Shane
like,
Thorne too, by the way. I don't know where the fuck Shane, whatever the fuck, Shane Haste. I don't know where the fuck he is now.
I guess the mighty do Neil.
Oh
And
my! What? For what reason?
you know, because I'm trying to recap and you're just like trying to heal over there in the
Well,
corner.
maybe you're trying to move on a little too quick. I'm not ready yet.
Well, you know what? Mourn faster, for God's sakes, man. What are you
Jesus
doing?
Christ!
Efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. Fuck, now you pop me,
Wait,
and now we're gonna be living even
TMDK are the IWGP Tag Team Champions right now.
Oh God.
I
You've
didn't
been,
know.
you've been asking where he's been. He's been on a product that you won't watch because you know it's ass. So
Why
like,
wasn't he in the G1 though?
because they decided for him not to be. Is that really such a problem?
His inferior tag partner was. Oh
When
wait,
you
never mind. No, he
started
wasn't. He wasn't. Never mind.
when you
Mickey Nichols
started that
wasn't.
sentence, it sounded like you were gonna. It was like and I thought you were gonna say he's Shane Thorne. So you were gonna do the thing where the name is the reason.
That would have been. That would have popped you fucking hard. I know it would have.
It would have missed opportunity, man. Missed
Damn.
opportunity.
Yeah, it was.
Um, but what the fuck was I even trying to say until you had to mourn all like fucking chaotic and shit? Fucking oh yeah, Sol Ruka. She beats Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu's trying to get the one up
I
on her, and
like
then Tatum.
Soul, man. I like Soul. She should be like, because realistically, what's she gonna do in NXT at this point? What is left for her to learn in NXT? Like she's a complete product enough that she can get her seasoning on the main roster. Call her the fuck up.
But I think ultimately I'm gonna fall down on the side of agreeing with you. At most, I would like to see her at one point with the women's North American title run. But you know what else I'd like to see? Her and Tatum being fucking friends. Because Tatum
Hell
saved her
yeah.
from a Wendy Chu beatdown, and then Soul's like, "Oh, all right." And then I thought, "Oh wow, new angle for Tatum. Maybe she's gonna be with Soul because nobody's gonna replace her Lyra. But Lyra's on the main roster, and she can't be on NXT all the time. Nope, don't get any follow up with that this week, and that really that hurt me. That hurt me. But
There was
I'm
follow
going
up with
to.
Tatum on this show though.
There was follow up with Tatum, yes, as an
It just
individual.
wasn't with
It's yeah,
Soul.
It just wasn't with Soul No, but I really am hoping that whatever they're doing with Tatum, like in the bigger picture, leads to her getting a new friend because that's what Lyra wanted for her is like, hey, make new friends. So hopefully that happens.
Yeah.
Um, we did get a follow up on though, and I thought this was great
My
for the
face?
most part. Say that again.
My face?
No, because that's been
Oh.
happening in real time. Where are
You
you right
you
now? Are you
just said
with
it
me
with
right
the
now?
tone that it sounded like you were gonna do a face thing.
Don't talk about my tone right now. My tone is fine, okay?
Who knows more about tone here?
Um,
The guy with 2 PhDs or the other guy?
fuck. Fuck. So stop popping me at inconvenient times right now. Stop it.
No.
Go to your room. Fucking
No.
recap. Listen
These
to me, you little
requests are absurd.
listen to me, you little shit. I'm not gonna get we are we are recapping NXT
I'm
and we
having
gotta
fun
we
with
gotta
it.
do this.
Also, Alex Foster said in chat he'd be friends with Tatum, and yeah, I definitely would be too.
Yeah, we all would be because we all have sense, except maybe Javaris because he's got this weird thing with Tatum for whatever reason that I don't understand because it's a Javaris thing. But like, yeah, like we'd all be friends
Javaris
with
do be
Tatum.
having his things. You know that's true.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he knows it. He knows I'm not even wrong. Anyway, fuck. Okay, so Tatum. Let's just talk about Tatum since we're already on the subject. She apparently is going to have a match next week with Jada Parker because she was Javaris like wow. um, so Tatum is having an interview backstage, I think talking about like her playtime and her dolls and everything. And then Jada interrupts with OTM, which can I get more tag matches with those guys? Because I like those guys too. Can I just see like all of them? Not
Yeah,
even
I like
necessarily
OTM.
together.
They're really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, like, yeah, I just wait, Javaris, to clarify, when you say cooled off, you mean you don't hate her as much? Because usually cooled off is like I used to like them and now I don't. So cooled off is usually like a negative thing, but I think for you that's actually a positive thing. So can you like clarify? But anyway, yeah, Jada and OTM, I don't even need to see them like all together because I do like Jada being a singles competitor. She's far, far, far more than a valet. But like, yeah, give OTM something. They're a solid tag team. I really believe that. Um, so yeah, Tatum's talking, but then Jada like interrupts because she still wants to get her hands, I think on Fatal Influence. But before that, now she's got to deal with Lola Vice because her and Lola have issues. Because that's right,
Lola!
Jada cost Lola the match against Nikita, and that's something that I forgot to mention. So okay, now that we have everything kind of together in a row here, Tatum says, "Oh, listen, I can respect what you got going on, but you're interrupting my playtime." And then Jada's like, "Look." She wasn't even that mean to Tatum, but she was more or less like I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, and you can get some too. So now they're gonna have a match next week, and I liked their interaction on Twitter where Tatum said she was looking forward to playing with Jada, and then Jada was like, I liked Bratz anyway, or I preferred the Bratz dolls anyway, which
Dude,
I
I
love that.
loved that line. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was great. I'm telling you, man, like if Jada and Tatum became friends, I'm here like give Tatum a friend.
Give
Just
Tatum something at this point. Stop just
ex-
fucking spinning her fucking wheels.
exactly. See, now this is where I share your apoplecticness for sure, because it's like it's
Well,
absurd.
sure,
It
now you do.
don't get
Don't tell me what to do.
fucking tone with me right now. I just did. I just did because somebody has to.
Well,
You
I
need to be
told you not
stopped.
to do it before you finished
And
doing
I
it, so this
just
is
did.
entirely on you, clearly.
You're pushing it right now. You're really pushing it right now.
Maybe you're
Okay.
pushing it. You're the one telling me what to do.
Okay, I just squeed. Thank you, Crisp, because I really think Crisp is the only thing making my sociopathy inconspicuous right now. And burgeoning psychopathy. But anyway, we do get a follow-up on a story that I actually am very intrigued by in all seriousness. And that is Carmen Petrovich and Ashanti the Adonis. And so
Yeah, that was a cool little interesting thing there backstage.
yeah, Shanti backstage, he comes and he apologizes, but he gives the rose to fucking Brinley. And
I'm
Carmen's just looking
sorry.
like,
Look,
oh no.
obviously, whatever floats your boat. Everybody has different tastes, but I don't know how you can look at Brinley Reese and you can look at Carmen and be like, "Yeah, give me Brinley."
Ashanti, I think part of his character though is he is kind of oblivious. Not even in the sense of like preference. I didn't say that to be mean to Brinley. I'm just saying like it's very clear that
I mean, don't get
Carmen
me
wants
wrong;
the
they're
rose.
both beautiful women. I'm not trying to
Yeah,
like hate. I'm not trying to say talk shit about anyone, but like Carmen is like model attractive. Carmen is like fucking ridiculously gorgeous. And like Brinley's attractive too, don't get me wrong, but like Jesus Christ, Carmen. I don't
yeah.
it's crazy.
And it's very clear Carmen wants a rose from Ashanti. Now, like, why she does, I still want to know. Because, like, if it's just a, like, I don't even mean that as a diss to Ashanti. Like, I just want to know where the attraction comes from. No attraction just, like, happens, right? I mean, sure, it could happen, like, physically. But, like, you've seen him. You know what he's about. You know that he's kind of like that player type of just give a rose to anybody that'll accept it, whatever. So, like, what is it about him that Carmen's like, oh, there's more that I want to know.
Yeah.
But he gives the rose to Brinley. Brinley's looking perplexed. Carmen's like, "What the fuck? Like, I'm literally right here."
Yeah.
Um, Friggin' Jensen comes in with
Ugh, with Spears.
fucking Spears, who we're not calling Sean anymore because the superior Sean, who's going to be watching this later, which by the way, Sean, this is the marker where I tell you I love you and you're fucking excellent. Please stick around because we will be getting into the Kevin Owens discussion. I promise. It's probably at this rate, though, going to be another hour and a half. So just hang tight with us, my
I
friend.
agree
Hang
with
tight with
Alex
us.
Foster. In kayfabe, no girl should like Ashanti. That's true. In kayfabe, really, nobody should like Ashanti because he's, I mean, he's proving himself to be a womanizing dickhead.
Yeah, no, and that's why I'm saying, like, Carmen, where is this coming from? Like, you know him. Like, is it an I can fix him sort of thing? Because honey, no. Like, honey, no. Um, but yeah, fucking Spears. Fucking
there's
I
a
even
there's a line in the
Ty
Sabrina Carpenter song about that. It's funny.
Oh, nice. But yeah, Ty Spears, I think is what we agreed to call him on TWitWoW just so that we could
Yeah,
spare
yeah.
Sean just the disrespect of disrespecting his name like that. So Ty Spears is like, "Oh, well, Jensen, what do you think about this?" And he
Oh,
takes the rose and he kind of throws it, whatever, and stomps it, just destroys
oh,
it.
you know what? It wasn't Sabrina Carpenter. It was Olivia Rodrigo. Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, afterwards when the rose is on the ground, they do this great camera shot of like the petals on the floor and then somebody's hand like scoops it up and we learn that it is Carmen. She takes like the crumpled like
Yeah.
fucking rose petal stuff, which cool. Okay. Then later, Ashanti has a match with Jensen, and
Can I
Jensen
ask you a
wins, which
question?
is
Actually, what happened to Dion Lennox? Where's Dion Lennox in all this?
apparently reading his book in peace and just not on TV. Which I mean, we stand a king that reads for fucking
Dion,
sure, but I'd
we
like to see him on my
love
TV.
your Zen for you, but we need you to raise some hell and get on TV again, please.
I need to see that drop kick again, and in fact, I need to see more of your offense again, and
Oh,
I need to
the
see you
drop
win.
kick is fine, but like I need to see all of him again.
Yes, yes,
Everything
and
of him.
also if you could, point me to your Goodreads account so that you can show me everything that you're reading so that I could, like,
Oh,
leech off of that, like, that would be really fucking hot to me in no uncertain terms, and so, yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not just open to it, I'm encouraging it, so drop me those deets.
oh.
Anyway,
What's a
Jensen
Goodreads?
well, Goodreads is pretty much like a book social media account where you can, like, make it, and then you can just put all the books that you've read, and you can review books and stuff like that, and I'm sure there
Oh.
are, like, communities on site and stuff. I don't have a Goodreads account. I've been thinking about making one for the last few years,
How do
but if
you
I knew
not have a
Dion had one.
Goodreads account? That would be perfect for you.
Because I'm a maverick, okay? I'm against the grain sometimes, not really. Um, so
You're adorable and I love you.
I know you do. You can't quit me.
So
Nobody
is
can.
Goodreads like letterboxed basically, but like for books?
You know what? That's not the worst comparison I've heard, actually. That actually, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Um, Not as much as I like your face, though, to be clear.
I actually
Anyway,
literally was just looking at my email and I got an email from Letterboxd and I was like, "Hey, wait a minute, that pertains."
bro, first of all, second of all, Javaris was like in catering where he belongs. Man, Javaris, you are really like, damn, my dude, going for the throat today. Um,
Because Super Blue asked where Eddie Thorpe was.
oh no, see, I thought he was talking about Dion Lennox. My mistake, Javaris.
No, he
Keep
was
carrying
asking
on.
about Eddie
Yeah,
Thorpe.
you know what, Javaris? My apologies, dude. My apologies, my man. You're doing God's work. Carry on, please. Uh, so,
So
so, 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 fuck. So,
remember when we thought Carl Fredericks had upside? Jesus Christ.
even we're allowed to be wrong, bro. I'm not flogging myself for
Bro, can
that.
you
Fuck.
imagine how excited we would have been for him if we would have known that he was Native American in New Japan? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, really. New Japan didn't seem that excited about it because they never made fucking mention of it. um, but
God,
yeah. So Jensen beats Ashanti. Jesus Christ, how are we still on this? What the fuck is happening?
I
But yeah,
mean,
Carmen comes out and she like distracts Ashanti with the rose and stuff, and she kind of has this look on her face like she wanted to do it, and I don't I don't know what's happening. Like, okay, so
so
you
what
want
you're
to get,
saying is she had fuck me eyes.
I mean, dude, those eyes, yeah, she was pretty intense. Not gonna lie, she was looking at him like, "Do you notice me now?" And even Ashanti was like, all right, I see you." So you get his
Notice me,
affection.
senpai. Notice me.
You get his affection by costing him the match. This relationship has the healthiest foundation I've ever
Oh
fucking
my
seen.
god, it's toxic as fuck. Holy shit, you're right.
These two are gonna go the distance, 100%. Like, yeah,
They're
yeah. I
going
just
for speed.
no, that song sucks.
That's a
Um,
great song. How dare you?
no, it sucks. All
It's
right.
such a good song.
Yeah, I do better recording the farts out of my asshole and uploading it to like an MP3 player or some shit.
Some
But
better start that
anyway,
OnlyFans, bud. People would pay money for that.
I don't. The idea that you're right, I don't even want to know. So yeah. Then we get the triple threat. Okay, so yeah, we're that. Okay, so now we're done NXT mercifully. Let's do Raw here. Uh,
Raw.
so Sami Zayn failed. He is not the world heavyweight champion. It's true. He did. He lost. What do you? What?
It's not. I'm not laughing because I think you're wrong. I'm laughing at the way that you phrased it.
I mean, look, let's be crystal clear about something. Sami Zayn is 1,000 times the human being I will ever hope to be in this or any other lifetime. I even saw a picture recently that somebody shared because obviously there's been a kerfuffle in the wrestling community that Undertaker and Kane, I mean, Kane wasn't surprising, and I guess Undertaker isn't either, but like it was explicit, endorsed Trump for the presidential race, and people were like, oh, so this is fine. But Sammy can't talk about Gaza because, apparently he's been punished for some of his Gaza tweets, at least on Twitter. I don't know about WWE, but he's been more covert about it. He actually shared a picture recently where he was like, "Oh, a
You ready
picture that
for
my
the
3-year-old
Samoa
took."
Joe coquina clutch chokehold air quotes?
Around what word now?
Independent contractors.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Um, but yeah, like Sammy, to his credit, he shared a picture on Twitter recently. I don't know how old this picture was, but he's like, "Oh, a picture that my 3-year-old took," and you could see that he's wearing a bracelet that says "Save Gaza." So Sami Zayn again is 1,000 times the human being I could ever hope to be. As a character, though, talked a lot of shit. Finally got his world title match. He got choked the fuck out. So, Sammy, I love you. And I really do hope one day that you are world champion because Lord knows you deserve it. Which just wasn't your night last week, my dude. But it was a fun match, though. Because we have to look ahead now to Gunther facing Cody Rhodes at the Saudi show. And I still fucking hate that they do these because it's so fucking pointless. And why is he in the ring with Cody? Like,
I
Cody's already
can't
eliminated you
wait
from
to
two
not
rumbles.
watch that show.
Dude, me either. Like same energy that I have for AEW every week, definitely going to this show. Not watching it, and because I'm not watching it, 10 out of 10. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I hope Gunther
being
beats
able to
Cody.
wake
I'm
up
not
late,
thinking on it.
being able to wake up later on that day and not have to wake up for a noon pay per view, it's gonna be the best experience. I love that for me.
I mean, it does involve your face, so it's already in good contention to be the best experience of anything, actually. But yeah, we Sammy loses, so that's a whole thing. And then, we get word from, so we're kind of working backwards here because now this is what started the show. We're hearing from CM Punk. God, he is just fuck. Thanks the fans, whatever. And he's talking about the real fans, the ones that stuck with me even when I was a prima donna about stuff. And he he leaves and he's like, I don't know when I'll be back. Bitch, we know you're winning the fucking Rumble. Shut the fuck up. Seth Rollins
Wait,
interrupts
who's winning the
him.
Rumble?
CM Punk, because he kind of teased like, I don't know if or when I'll be back, and then like, bitch, you're
Oh,
coming back. Like, shut the fuck up. We know what you're doing. Shut the fuck up. Seth Rollins comes out. They have a stare down. Seth cackles a little. I can respect it. I do believe in cackling once a day. I think it's good for you.
it's gonna be so
Um,
fun if there ever comes a day that we actually get another Royal Rumble that actually feels unpredictable. And if they ever actually do another Royal Rumble where they actually give it to like a young, unestablished talent.
give it to Oba Femi. I will keep saying until
Bro,
I
I,
go to
I
my
would
grave.
love it if we
Yeah.
had a Royal Rumble come where we had two NXT talents win, one man, one woman. And I was even saying the other day that it would be amazing if they were both black to NXT talents Oba and Lash.
Dude, Lash looked fucking great this past Friday.
She
Oh
did.
my
She was
god, dude.
so good against Piper. The feats of strength were so real. She was popping the crowd, showing off. It was so cool.
Oh, she is gonna get hella over in due time. She is talented as fuck. Um,
Hmm.
So let's see here. So yeah, Rollins comes out. He essentially calls out Bronson Reed. That's the long and the short of it. Then Jey Uso interrupts. Not like Rollins, but because he's got stuff to do. But Rollins is still in the ring, and Rollins is kind of staring at Jay a certain way. And I'm just gonna be honest. I'd love to see a Jay Rollins program. I really would. Like Jay is at such a level right now with his character and his work that him being in a feud with Rollins, not only is that believable for me, I'm kind of low key salivating for it after this stare down. You could even kind of do something with Seth, not to the same degree that you're doing with Owens. And again, Owens, I want to try and say as little as possible until the very end, because like that's my cake, right? Like I'm doing all this just to enjoy the big dessert of Kevin Owens, some of the best work he's done in his WWE career in a long time, recently. But yeah, Seth just being kind of miffed at Jay and like, what is this? And kind of having those negative feelings about the bloodline. Like, yeah, I like it. Even though Jay has tried to dissociate himself, not everybody's so forgiving. So that is very interesting. I do wonder if it'll come at the expense of Rollins' babyface run, or if WWE is kind of entering an era, which they may be with Kevin. We don't know, where there's just more nuance. Where if you're gonna say there are no faces and heels, what you really mean is yes, there are, but there's gonna be more ambiguity than ever before because we're gonna put more nuance in it than ever before. I'm down with that. That I'm down with. But yeah, so Rollins takes leave, kind of looking at Jay like, this motherfucker really gonna interrupt me. And then Jay has a match with Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods getting this Intercontinental title opportunity because he had beaten Ray by unveiling face. Way to go, Xavier. That's using that PhD to good use.
Way to fucking
Um,
cheat, you cheating cheater.
Relax.
You really
So
need to stop doing this thing where you tell me what to do.
you were out of pocket there. It was Ray. He unveiled face. I don't see
I
how
was not
Xavier
out of
isn't in the right.
pocket. You're just wrong about that.
Well, then maybe you should go back into Kirby's pocket and think about the tone that you're using right now. um, I enjoyed this match though. It was good to see Xavier in a singles context. It was great to see Jay actually defend the Intercontinental title. I really did enjoy this. I had a lot of fun with this. And Jay does win. And after the match, Jay trying to give a show of respect. Xavier doesn't shake his hand. Um, Oh man, wait, Foster, can you give more context for that? Was it Xavier playing fair in the title match or trying to cheat in the title match? Because clearly I'm very like on my heel bullshit right now, and I'm thinking you're playing the babyface role, which I like because one of us needs to be pure, and it far better you than me. Um, but yeah, Xavier doesn't shake his hand. And then after the match, Braun Breaker goes on the attack. He spears fucking Jay. And then Kofi's like, we got to help him. We got to help him. And Xavier rightly is telling him, hey, Kof, we really don't have to do that, man. Like, that's really not our business. And again, hot
You really
take,
said
I agree that,
rightly. Wow, the agenda right now. Jesus Christ.
um, really, again, we're doing
You
this.
tell me, really? Again? We're really going to insert this pro heel
I,
agenda for Xavier again?
I said on Discord, and I am nothing if not consistent, that Kofi should have minded his business. That was not his business, and he got speared because of it.
Jay
So
is very clearly their friend. Jay literally helped Kofi Kingston to win the world title. When Kofi Mania happened, that literally couldn't have happened without Jay Uso.
hey, so maybe when you get done trimming those nose hairs, you can clean your fucking ears out because I had said earlier and in review that friendship in WWE doesn't exist. So what is this? Oh, Jay
Yeah,
is
but
their
then you
friend thing,
also
right?
proceeded to say that you hope that Charlie Dempsey and No Quarter Catch Crew are friends. So, like, if you're really asking me to be consistent, I would just ask that you do the same thing first.
Well, hope never got anybody anywhere. So maybe I am the fool. But regardless, look, Kofi, look, he tried to help. He got put down. And then Xavier, who was minding his business the entire time, Braun he spears him too. Why? Because when you start showing dominance, you can't stop. And so Braun then spears Jay again, poses with the IC title, and then to connect it with this week, Kofi loses to Braun Breaker and with a spear. It was a pretty okay matchup. Nothing really too special to say about it. But then, I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
Braun
that is
wanted
another
some
thing, is
message.
that you also keep on talking about how you want Tatum to find a friend. So clearly you do believe in friendship in wrestling to some degree.
Are you done, sir?
I just read a
Or
chat message from Javaris and wanted to bring it up.
okay. That's fair, I guess. But yeah, Braun beats Kofi. And yeah, they actually do stave Braun off this week. And then Xavier's kind of looking at Jay like, oh yeah, thanks. But you could tell that Xavier still has like a certain idea about everything. And going back to last week, he even says to Kofi backstage, like, Cove, I'm tired of always, doing the right thing, being the good friend, like coming up short. So Xavier is starting to feel some kind of way about positivity all the time. Uh, and so we'll have to see where it goes. Be interesting if he could get pulled out of the darkness, or if this really is just going to be the knife in the back of Kofi, which I'm still like, again, in all sincerity, all jokes aside, all fun aside, I do think that they were going to break up a New Day. And you already know my honest thoughts about that. I do think, that is a big slap in the face to black wrestling fans, that really the New Day is kind of an institution for them, especially when you're not probably going to do anything substantive in the long run, because, Triple H has come under scrutiny for that with how black talent are perceived and booked. I don't really see Xavier going far without the New Day, or Kofi for that matter, even though Kofi, is so long standing in the business, in WWE specifically. I just think, they're better together than apart at this stage of their careers. We'll just have to see where it goes. But so yeah, after that, let's see. Oh, and then this week too, I want to say, just to wrap up the whole IC title picture, that Braun had a great video package talking about how he felt disrespected by Jay, and that, didn't give him his props like he wanted him to, and this and that.
That was
I
awesome. I
really like that.
loved that.
Yeah, dude. Like, again, all jokes aside and being completely sincere, I really do love everybody in this. Like, I think Xavier's great. I think Jay, obviously, I've been giving him his flowers forever now. Kofi and Xavier, they've been holding it down for years. But Braun's my guy. I fucking love Braun. I'm rooting for him. And I just thought the way that he spoke, and the shot of his eyes at the end of that video package, dude, his eyes have such a natural intensity to him. Jesus Christ. That dude ever looks at me like that, I'm finding a god somewhere. He gonna beat my ass. He's legit. He's legit. I love him. Good old fashioned Donnybrook match, Sheamus versus Dunn. I really didn't watch this. I
I
did see
didn't
the
watch
ending
it
though. That
either,
got a lot of
bro.
hype from
I don't
people.
give a fuck about this shit.
Hey, credit to Sheamus though. That bro kick with hands tied behind his back, that was pretty cool. Nice little visual. Gets the win. Um, After that, I believe that the babyface team, did they, or yeah, I think the babyface team of Lyra and uh Kaden and Katana and Natalia and all them and Zelina won a big tag match against Pure Fusion Collective. Then we get Sammy's world title match, which I already said that he lost. So that was Raw last week. And then to keep up with Raw this week, what do we got here? We've got, oh yeah, Rhea Ripley had a segment which was then interrupted by Tiffany, but then they
Oh
were
yeah,
both
this
kind of
was
laid
cool. I
out.
like
Yeah.
this.
Oh, you did? Well, what did you like about it, man? Let's hear you talk a little bit. Was there anything that stood out to you? Just Rhea's promo, was it, that you liked, or what?
Yeah, I actually do like the dynamic between Rhea and Tiffany. I like that Pierce kind of, you know, told Rhea that she had to find a partner and wouldn't allow her to go into the match by herself. And then Tiffany just randomly shows up with a gripe, pissed off about Raquel and Liv. And Pierce is just like, what about her? And Rhea just kind of moody and angry is just like, fine. It's just, I like the dynamic. I've always loved a dynamic in media between a goth girl and a cutesy pink Barbie type girl. I always have been fond of that type of dynamic, and Rhea and Tiffany pulled it off really well.
Yeah.
I think that the thing that I hate most about Tiffany Stratton is that I fucking love the Tiffany Stratton character. The character is so fucking good. This is one of the best characters in all of wrestling. I just can't stand that she's being portrayed by a fucking MAGA cultist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
It
the character's
sucks.
so good. This is
It
like
is.
it's
Yeah.
like an S tier character. It's so good. We need more Barbies in wrestling, unironically, and ones who embrace it too, not just like really attractive blonde women who do other shit. No, we need actual Barbies. We need that shit, and especially if they're actually good at what they do. Like really, like Mariah May is like the part. Like literally, Mariah May is probably one of my top 2 or 3 favorite women's wrestlers in the world right now. Like you can even I'll even pull up 5 to tell you exactly where she ranks among my women's wrestlers in the world right now to give you a number. Um, number one, actually. I literally have her ranked as my number one favorite women's wrestler in the world right now. She's number one, Chelsea Green number two, Jada Parker number three. So
Yeah.
that gives you an idea. Uh, that trope is something that fits so fucking well in the wrestling landscape today, because we're in a place where people are so like hyper fixated on trying not to sexualize women and trying to like it is like the sort of like postmodern feminism where like if a woman wants to be feminine and if a woman wants to get married and have kids, there a lot of society has kind of gotten to the point that they almost want to push back against it. And I think that we shouldn't allow that to be the thing. The whole point of feminism is to allow women to choose what they want to do. And if a woman wants to be feminine and wants to be girly and wants to embrace pink and girly stuff like that and being a Barbie doll, let her. And if she's, especially if she's a good wrestler like Mariah, it's fucking perfect. And I love that shit. And Tiffany could be that, but I just can't stand that she's played by a fucking MAGA cultist. It's the worst.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. It is rough, especially when,
Mariah is like
yeah,
everything that I wish Tiffany Stratton was. But of course, it's like we have Tiffany being booked by people who understand the character, but portrayed by a piece of shit. And then Mariah is like the perfect performer, but she's being booked by people who don't know what the fuck they're doing.
yeah.
Ah, it
Wrestling
drives me crazy.
wrestling is fundamentally unfair. I don't know how we've
I
lasted
think that
this long.
wrestling was an art form designed specifically with hurting me in mind.
That's it's a lot to unpack there, bud. And not gonna do that right now. But I can understand where you're coming from. So yeah, we get a lot of stuff with Judgment Day, Liv and Raquel kind of stand tall in that segment. And then there's a tag match like later in the show, like you said, Rhea and Tiffany against Liv and Raquel. And that was a pretty solid matchup. The whole can they coexist thing actually kind of worked here, seemingly, with them. And the match ended in a no contest. So again, Rhea continues to try and pursue Liv. We have got Liv versus Nia at the Saudi show, which is why Tiffany's even involved. It's just a lot of stuff. So we also know that Jade and Bianca are still your women's tag champs. They're fending off both Kyrie and Io, who they did retain against on Raw this week, but they're also having to deal with Jakara and Lash, who I love how aggressive Jakara and Lash have been in this whole thing. Again, we know that Lash did beat Piper Niven on SmackDown this week. So I really like that they're building that team up. Lash, I think, has got such a bright future, man. She's so good. But after that, again, we get the video package from Braun. Then, we get a sit down interview with Bronson Reed. That was okay. And Reed, said pretty much he wants a match with Seth at some point. So, he's fine with facing Seth wherever he wants to, go. Seth said anytime, any place. Reed agreed. We're doing a tag tournament to determine Finn and JD's next challengers, because that's right, folks. In case you forgot, Finn and JD are the Raw Tag Team Champions. And apparently, Raw didn't want you to forget, because Pierce, as a character, made it a point to say, you got to defend those titles. Meanwhile, Balor's is preoccupied with getting a rematch with Priest. So War Raiders are back together. I did not even know this, but they beat Alpha Academy. So
They
they've
returned
been,
this week, dude. They literally returned. It's not like a back together thing. Do you remember those sigils that were on Raw where it was like this? They were like vignettes almost, but not really, because it wasn't like a full vignette. It wasn't showing any people. It was just like a black screen, almost like the Wyatt Six hype thing, where it was just like a black screen that would come up, and then it would like burn a circle into the screen, and then it would show these sigils around the screen. It looked like it was like PFR or something like that. It looked like
yeah.
people translated that. Those were Celtic runes, and they literally spelled. I think it was like war. I think it literally spelled war.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
those were actually just hype for the return of the War Raiders. And the cool thing is that they are the War Raiders again. Like literally the word Viking Raiders came up on the screen, and then Viking turned into war. So it's like they've been renamed back into the War Raiders. So like Triple H undid Vince McMahon's bullshit.
It's cool at least.
I think it's
Whatever.
awesome, especially because now we have the war chants back. War, war, war.
Yeah,
I love that shit. That was like one of the reasons they were over in NXT to begin with.
yeah. Whatever I think about these guys as individuals, because one or not both of them. You want to talk
I
about
mean,
Maga
bare minimum,
cultism? Like,
Rowe is definitely a piece of shit for sure.
yeah. It doesn't change the fact that as a tag team and in the ring, I remember when we first saw these guys years ago.
In
I thought they'd be
ROH,
one of the greatest. Beg pardon?
in ROH,
Yeah, in ROH. Yeah, I thought these guys would go down to be one of the best tag teams in the business. I don't think they've
yeah.
quite had that legacy because of
You
injuries
know
and
what
other
though,
stuff.
dude?
But
I mean, they
yeah,
are a little bit long on the tooth at this point, but they could still do that with the repackaging and they're getting the war chants back and they with Rowe back healthy, they could unironically still pull that off because they've got it in them for sure.
definitely. I agree with you completely. I personally, I would just have them win this tournament, just straight up.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
100%.
Um,
I mean, who the fuck else is gonna win it?
exactly. I'm gonna skip the whole Gunther stuff because fuck Cody. At least in this, I don't really want to talk about any Saudi stuff because fuck that show.
Thank you.
Already talked about the Braun stuff. Miz Truth, Truth actually beat Miz, and then Miz hits a skull crushing finale afterwards. Karrion Kross, though, dude, how is this dude still fucking employed? Jesus Christ, he he has the weakest aura in every angle he's in, every single one. This dude, like he this is gonna be the most visceral I am. I can't even. I've lost count of how many times tonight I've said I don't want to be mean, but in this case I do because fuck Cross. He looks like a guy that security should be escorting. It doesn't even look like he should be on the show. Like he he's just so fucking basic, and that's the nicest way I can put it. He's just so fucking basic. There's nothing about him because they took everything away from him, and like if he's just doing it on his own, it ain't working, Chief. It ain't fucking working. You know what is
Remember
working
the
though?
White Rabbit?
Yeah. Yeah, again, Lucha Underground giving people some of the best material of their fucking career. Thank you, Lucha Underground. Miss you. Miss you so much.
Miss you,
Um,
baby.
you know who is God damn it. You know who is doing great work though? Jay fucking Uso.
He is,
Perfectly portraying a
dude.
trauma victim.
He is. He's doing great work on his home brand on Raw, and he even did great work this week on SmackDown.
Bro, that exchange with Roman where he grabs his arm and Jay kind of reacts the way to I'm like, I don't know if this dude had legit drama or trauma that he's using a la Barry to fucking act his
Yeah,
ass off,
yeah,
or if he just studied people or if he talked to people. But dude has got it like, dude, amazing.
yeah.
Like you want to talk about characters and just the performance beyond the ring. Jay may be one of the best performers in the company that we're not talking about like on that level. Cause like his body language, his faces, how things change. Cause he smiles at
He's
Jimmy.
kind of almost got that Jada Parker vibe where you don't really realize it, but he makes it all feel very real.
Yeah, thank you, dude. Thank you, because I completely agree with you. I do. Like, because, dude, not to get ahead of myself, because I did want to save some number last, but mainly Kevin Owens, so we could talk about this. When he sees Jimmy on SmackDown, it surprised me like how warm he was to him because he gave him the cold shoulder on Raw, like said no, but maybe that's because he was thinking more about Roman than Jimmy.
Yeah.
But he actually kind of hugs Jimmy, gives him like a bro hug, but he sees Roman man and his face completely changes.
That's
And
a
like
source of his trauma right there.
Yes. And then Roman being like, I'm proud of you. We all are. And you could see the look on Jay's face where he wants it to mean something to him, but he doesn't want to show it to Roman
Yeah,
because
well,
he feels
yeah,
like
because
showing it
it's
to
like,
Roman. Yeah.
that might have meant something to me 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, hell, maybe even last year. But I'm so over you and anything you has to say or anything you have to say is just meaningless to me at this point. So, I mean, yeah, be proud of me. You should be because I'm making the whole family proud, but also fuck you.
Exactly. Exactly. And he doesn't want to show like how that
Yeah.
like pride,
Because he was
what that means
seeking
to him.
Roman's validation for so long, and now he finally has it, but he doesn't fucking want it.
He doesn't want it, but even if there's a part of him that does want it, the other part of it is like he doesn't want to show it because he doesn't want to give Roman that power. Because
Yes.
that's always the thing, right?
That's
Like
the
I
thing,
don't
is
want to
like,
give
even if he
yeah.
does want it deep down inside, he doesn't want to want it.
Exactly, because that gives Roman power, and you never want to give your abuser power.
Yep.
So I'm glad that Jay remembered who Roman Reigns is, because apparently all the fans forgot, and he's holding Roman to account. And
Cody
I'm
also
sorry, look,
forgot. Just ask Kevin.
yeah. Oh, Kevin. Oh my God. Uh, But yeah, I mean, good for Jay. Honestly, good
Yep.
for fucking Jay. I think he's doing amazing work. I think he's earned everything he's fucking gotten. It's
Mm-hmm.
performances like this that I say like it's never too late to put the world title on him if they want to. Cause like he is so good as a fucking character. I am all in on him and everything he's been doing. Um so yeah, after his stuff with Jimmy on Raw, and then we kind of touched on what he did on SmackDown, because he also did have a little confrontation with Solo where he said, next time I see you, it's gonna be different because Solo didn't want to hear any of the shit that Jay was saying. So that's pretty much Jay, like all this week. We do get the tag match again between Rhea and Tiffany versus Liv and Raquel, and like I said, it ended in a no contest.
Because
So
of
now we
Naya.
can move on because of Naya. Yes, now we can move on to fucking SmackDown. Um, Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Final stretch, people. We hear from Jimmy Uso first. I have been very honest with you, people. I do not like Jimmy Uso. The only thing I like about Jimmy Uso is seeing Jimmy Uso get the shit beat out of him.
See, and
But
Jimmy Uso has a direct line to my funny bone. I think he's hilarious. That segment backstage where he was like leaning up on Roman, and Roman's like, "What are you doing?" And he was just like, so good. I loved that because Roman was like, "The wise man would have had this handled by now." I love Jimmy, dude. He's funny as shit.
I'm trying to relax you. I'm trying to relax. It's like you're not relaxing me right now, though. What are you doing? Um, so Jimmy, more or less, the bare bones of his promo is he wants Solo, right? He was sitting at home. Solo took him out. His own brother took him out. He's angry about that. He has feelings about that. Cool. Hey, you remember when you betrayed your own brother when he was actually going to fix the family and become the tribal chief? Yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers. You fuck. So, he's feeling himself. Granted, the crowd is really behind Jimmy. They're like, oh, welcome back and yeet and this and that. Roman comes out. And I love that Roman still is kind of on his tribal chief bullshit because he does the whole handout thing like, okay, time for the adults to drive. Give me the mic. Okay, Roman, you can talk. Of course I can. And he actually opens with, hey, let's acknowledge Jimmy. And Jimmy's shocked, but he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll get used to this, Oos." Acknowledging Jimmy Uso. Yeah, don't get used to it too much. Um, but then Roman says, like, "Look, I get it, but Roman has his own score to settle with Solo and the Ulafala, and just getting the family back in order." And just tells Jimmy, like, you want Solo, just be sure to handle business because I'm not done with him either. And Jimmy points out to him though that it's just the two of them. And like, you're still my tribal chief, but you're a chief without a tribe. Like, I'm the only one here. Solo's got all these guys. We need help. We need help. And Roman, though, doesn't want to hear it. He's like, help. I'm Roman fucking Reigns. I am the help. So he feels like there isn't really a problem. But I mean, Jimmy does raise those points again. Like we've lost everything, And Roman says like it does frustrate me because we should be in the main events. We should have the championships and everything else. So you could still see that Roman hasn't lost his personality as far as actually being the tribal chief, right? Like he still wants to be that guy. He still wants his bloodline to be in those spots. But Jimmy's kind of the realist in this situation, which is a weird position for Jimmy Uso to be in because he's usually just been such a goober up until this point. So it is an interesting dynamic. But yeah, so that's that. And then we get LA Knight unfortunately retaining against Carmelo Hayes. Decent matchup, but I'm just looking forward to Carmelo and Andrade mixing it up again. They actually did have a backstage interview segment this week that once again ended in a brawl. So that seventh matchup is really getting built to be something good, and
Yo,
I'm very
this
curious
was
how it's going to
another
end.
one though. These guys have really good chemistry when it comes to the brawls. This felt real too.
Yes,
It
yes,
feels like these dudes legitimately hate the shit out of each other, and I love that.
I do too, man. Like, how do these guys have a better sense of genuine animosity than fucking Drew Punk for the most part? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really digging it. I'm even wondering how their fifth match is going to end because I'm almost wondering if like it'll be a double pin or some shit and have like an indecisive winner or something. Um, so very curious how that'll turn out. Uh, okay. After this, all right. Okay. So this kind of starts it just going in chronological order. Jakara and Lash come out for their women's tag title opportunity,
Yeah.
but Kevin cuts them off. and he says, "I'm sorry, I'm really sorry about this, but I need to talk because WWE just hasn't let me kind of give my side of the story. They told me not to come. I didn't turn on Cody. Cody turned on me, and then Cody comes out because, of course, like, oh, say my name and I appear because you rip off everybody else. Why not rip off Joe Hendry? He wants to get into it with Kevin, but he wants to get into it with Kevin. Kevin wants to get into it with Cody. Um, Randy comes out and he kind of mediates between the two, like stop it, stop it. What are you doing? And then Kevin wants to go after him again, but Randy like elbows Kevin in the face, or like forearms him in the face, and Kevin's just kind of looking at him like, what? What? How could you do this to me? And Randy's kind of looking like, oh, fuck, fuck. Uh, Look, Kevin, it wasn't like that. And Kevin is just like, but you hit me. And so, Kevin leaves. Randy's frustrated. And then later he's like, look, Cody, I can fix this. I can fix this. Just let me talk to Kevin. I've got this. You got to calm down. You got to cool down. Nick Aldis affirms this. He says, look, you've got the match with Gunther, brand supremacy, crown jewel kind of championship. I want that to come home to SmackDown. So just get on your bus. Okay. Cody reluctantly acquiesces, says, fine, I'll go. And then later in the show, we see Kevin attack Randy. That's all I'm going to say about it for now, because Kevin has released 2 videos that want to be my last talking point where we really get into the Kevin character. So excited to talk about it. We are almost there, people. Almost fucking there. We get our women's tag team title matchup. Bianca and Jade do retain after a game effort, though, from Jakara and Lash. And again, the following week, Lash would beat Piper Niven, and Jakara would actually take out Chelsea, which I thought was pretty cool for Jakara, who we don't see as much of as Lash, because Lash is the more finished product right now. Black excellence in WWE right now, folks. I love to see it. I want to see more of it and more main event spots, but I think that'll come in due time.
Yeah.
We get Nia Jax talking about her master plan, and that's that she wants to beat Liv and then have Tiffany cash in on her to become the Raw Women's Champion, which honestly, for speaking character wise, this is genius by Nia. Because like it walks the line perfectly between not making Tiffany an enemy, but also getting that problem out of your hair. So it's like, how do I appease her without threatening my own interests? Oh, I'll just set Liv up for her, and then
Yep.
there you go. So
That was great.
I actually do.
I loved that. And then fucking Dom.
Yeah. Yeah, and then fucking because she even tried to on Monday. That's right. That's a great point. Dom saved her on Monday, but I'm sure she'll try again at Crown Jewel, which is why they want people to tune into the PLE, but we won't. Hooray!
Yay for us.
Naomi then comes out looking fucking adorbs as always, saying that she wants a shot at Nia. And Nia is more or less like, no. And then we're all collectively like, fuck you, she deserves it. And Naomi's like, I got no problem beating you right now. And wouldn't you know it, she does. Her and Nia have a one-on-one match. Liv interferes at one point, and Raquel as well. The briefcase gets used on Nia, I believe, by Liv. And yeah, Naomi powerbombs Nia and gets the pin on her, which I thought was pretty great. I think Rhea came running out afterwards, and that kind of was a whole thing. So it's just this whole crazy situation with a bunch of different women. But Naomi now might be in the conversation on the SmackDown side, which is really cool to see. Because she's a great performer and she definitely deserves it. After this, because we were talking about the Kevin stuff, so we're going to circle back to that later. We have Solo Sikoa beating Jimmy in the main event and then laying out Roman Reigns. I'm just going to say, too, that they kind of laid out Roman Reigns again this week, too. Solo is looking pretty unstoppable because he has the numbers. That's the whole point of the story. Roman does need help. Roman's not acknowledging he needs help. And as long as he doesn't acknowledge that he needs help, this is going to keep happening. And I can't believe Jimmy fucking Uso is the voice of reason here. And that's kind of how we open this SmackDown, is with Solo. And again, I mentioned that Jay came out. And Jay said, look, if you really wanted to unite the family, I don't understand why these guys are here. You know how we feel about Jacob, which I love that he said that. Jacob continues to have this aura and this mystique about him. Like, why is he in the family? Why is he ostracized from the family? And, just really makes him seem like so menacing. I mean, keep in mind, in kayfabe, this is the family that had fucking Umaga in it.
Yeah.
And yet Jacob is somehow like even more unhinged. Like that's wild to me when you put it in that context. So great opening segment there. Jay thankfully doesn't get the shit beat out of him as I expected him to, but they do seem to be doing a slow burn with Jay coming back to the side of Jimmy and Roman, which, cool enough. Tag title tournament here. We have Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano winning their matchup. They beat Pretty Deadly and the Street Profits. I'm really tired of the Street Profits being fucking overlooked for fucking milquetoast white guys. I far prefer Street Profits to DIY. I actually do like Pretty Deadly, and in fact, if you want my honest opinion, my ranking goes Street Profits, then Pretty Deadly, then DIY. That's just me, though. That's just my
Dude,
preference.
I honestly thought that Pretty Deadly were gonna win because they're fucking heels, unlike Street Profits and DIY, and I knew that MCMG were gonna win the other one, and I thought they would want MCMG to overcome heels in like the finals of this little mini tournament. But no, they're just gonna do fucking Triple H peak NXT Black and Gold, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano era level bullshit with the fucking flippy choreographed garbage, and it's going to be MCMG versus DIY. And I really want to like MCMG because I know I used to like them in TNA, but I feel like this is not the type of match that I was looking forward to them having.
Yeah, I mean, dude, to me, I far prefer them being in the ring with Street Profits because if you want the flippy shit, Montez Ford's got you covered, but Angelo Dawkins is a freak in there, and Angelo Dawkins has been putting the work
Dude,
in.
we were actually
And
talking in the Discord about Dawkins, and we were talking about how like this mix up with Ford pinning the wrong guy might ultimately lead to one of them turning on each other.
okay.
And then we were basically just talking about how cool it would be if Ford was the one to turn and we got a babyface Dawkins and then a heel Ford. And then, like, I kind of took it all the way and I said that it would be interesting if we got Bianca also turning on Jade, and then Bianca and Montez were like this, like, ultimate power couple. And I think Sean brought up them winning King and Queen of the Ring, respectively, together this year. That would be so dope.
Yes. Yes. Um, and yeah, I I feel bad for Street Profits. I feel like they deserve more, but it is what it is, unfortunately. So yeah, we get that. And then like I said, we get Jay and Roman kind of interacting that little bit, which is really good. Uh Lash beating Piper. We already talked about that. That was amazing. So glad that Lash could show off her power like she did. And yeah, then Cody gets a promo again, hyping up Crown Jewel. I'm not going to talk about it. Fuck Crown Jewel and fuck Cody Rhodes. And then finally,
Hooray!
actually, no, not finally. We still got a bit more. Motor City
Aw.
Machine Guns win their matchup, as you said. Bailey and Naomi lose to Nia and Candice, and apparently Candice got the better of Bailey, which this might
She
actually be a
did.
program.
Candice LeRae
Yeah,
did pin Bailey. Yeah, it was wild.
yeah, interesting. And apparently, this isn't even the first time Candice has pinned Bailey like recently or something. Like, I just feels like, from what I'm hearing, Candice and Bailey are in some kind of a program. At least I don't know if you can
I'm not aware of
substantiate
this,
that.
but I'll take your word for it, bud.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, I'm happy for both of them. They're both quality workers, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you know, fair enough. Yeah, Candice gets the better of Bailey. We'll have to see where it goes. Um, and then yeah, face to face, Roman and Solo. Um, Reigns kind of faking Solo out, saying, I acknowledge you, but then of course it breaks down into a brawl. Um,
Yeah, well, yeah, because Solo was like, that's not good enough. I need you to acknowledge me as your tribal chief. And that was when like Roman like freaked out a little bit.
did he do that thing with his face where it twitches a little?
I think he did actually. Yeah, I think he did.
Perfection. And then yeah, it just ends with Roman getting laid out. But now finally, let's talk about what I have wanted to talk about all fucking show.
Yeah, you've
These
been practically twitching about it.
I know, I've been tweaking hard. These two social media videos that Kevin Owens has put out, talking about his situation. But you know what? I'm gonna splooge, and I know I will. I actually want you to go first on this because I know I've always been the bigger Kevin Owens fan, so I could be blinded by a couple of things. I feel like you're better with guys that I love and that you like too, but you're more grounded. What do you think about Kevin Owens' character work right now?
I think he's amazing right now. I think he's definitely killing it. as like sort of like this delusional heel type character. Um, I think that he definitely has legitimate gripes. I do think that he definitely has reason to be angry at Cody for teaming with Roman at Bad Blood. That's very valid for sure. But I think that he's definitely also blowing it out of proportion. I don't really understand um, why he felt the need to escalate it to the point that he attacked Cody after that match. And the thing that I think really needs to be addressed that he is intentionally leaving out because he's a good heel is that he intentionally elbowed Randy Orton when Orton was trying to pull him away from Cody on that episode of SmackDown last week. He, like, you could
Yes.
see it in the replay. He wound the fuck up and he elbowed the shit out of Orton. So when Orton, popped him back with the forearm, and then Kevin gets this sad puppy dog face on. It's like, bro, you had that coming. That was a get back. That was a receipt. Don't act like he popped you, completely, unwarranted. That was you getting, it was a get back. And then like, yeah, him doing his Twitter promo where he talks about how he almost said Randy broke his heart, but then he said that he broke his trust. It was like, damn, bro, you are really cutting this promo like you believe this shit too. It's really impressive. Kevin's acting right now is honestly on another level. It's really exceptional.
Okay, so when I start talking about this, I'm just gonna go. So are you ready for me to go? I'm just
Just go,
warning
man.
everybody.
Yeah, for it.
Okay. So let me do some scaffolding first, because it's important to
Ooh,
set
I
up the
like
structure before I really get into it.
scaffolding.
We got a segment actually that was very interesting that I think it would behoove us to pay attention to. Orton was in Aldis's office
Yeah.
and he said, "You don't understand me. I want Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel." Now, I'll say this. I am so into this angle right now that I'm not watching Crown Jewel live. I will third party this shit though for this match.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah.
Like I want to see this match.
Yeah.
But Aldis says I can't do that because it's not coming from me, it's coming from up above. So I'm wondering if
Papa
Triple H is gonna
H.
exactly. And then Orton's like, well, then I think I know who I have to go to.
Yup.
And Kevin Owens has kind of made some more allusions in his videos, like, WWE is telling me not to come. And he's even added Triple H and Stephanie and the company Twitter in these promo videos. So that's the one thing that there are people that don't want Randy to face Kevin Owens at Crown Jewel in kayfabe. Cool. Another thing I have to plug because they deserve it because they are the premier Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn account. I've called them an archivist of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and a historian. Myth GIFs, MITH, and then GIFs. They made an amazing point about this recent Twitter promo from Kevin, and you kind of touched on it, Ashton, but I want to expound upon the point you made. He did say, or he was about to say, that Randy broke his heart, and he even was going to say earlier in that promo that he loved Randy. But Myth
Yes.
pointed out
He did,
that
dude. He even like he was gonna be like, uh, dude, I love. He was gonna be like, dude, I loved you, but he like stopped himself and he was like, I can't believe you picked Cody over me. It was so good.
and Mytha said like Kevin does this when things get too intense or too real, he stops himself.
Yeah.
And like I think that's such an amazing psychological tick of the character.
Yeah.
And like that's where like okay. So I said I was going to splooge, and I am, but I want to splooge in an articulate and coherent way. I don't just want to be like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever, even though I am so in love with this fucking story right now. You guys don't even know. What I love about the Kevin character and why I was so invested in him as a babyface is that he is a deeply flawed character. And I am fascinated about the idea of that kind of deeply flawed character pursuing some kind of redemption in some form. And the thing about this character that I like is Kevin has a legitimate axe to grind, which makes me not even root against him. I even said, as far as I'm concerned, him having a babyface title run is still on the table to me because he is the babyface in this situation. Um, but what I love too about him is he is also a dick. I mean, even in these videos, in the first video, he was wearing a Randy Orton shirt. And in this latest video, he was wearing a fucking Dusty Rhodes shirt. I mean, I love that. His Twitter profile pic, he did what I wish WWE would do, and he took Cody Rhodes out of the picture. It's just Kevin and Randy in the picture, and Cody Rhodes is cropped out. You can only see the top of Cody's stupid head, and that's it. So Kevin's character work has always been fantastic. And what I love about this character right now in particular, this is black and gold NXT Kevin Owens, but refined and purified. Because black and gold NXT Kevin Owens also had this similar psychological thing of like, you guys want to talk about what I did to Sami Zayn, but Sami betrayed me. He left me behind in WWE. You know, we were supposed to do it together. He just went into business for himself. But like, you could clearly tell that like he was delusional, right? And that Sami was very clearly the victim of his best friend betraying him and all this stuff happening. This is that same character, but far more nuanced and a bit more muted, but in a good way, because he's not like as psychotic or deranged, at least not yet. I mean, it might get there. I don't know. But like, I love how much more human this iteration feels. Like that's what fucking works for me. Is that like, yeah, this feels reasonable. And what you say about him elbowing Randy, you're right. I saw that. And like Randy Orton responding how he did, you could figure that Kevin could just be like, listen, things got heated. But no, he immediately jumps to the worst case scenario. And that's that Randy's chosen Cody over me, which of course I'm going to be on Kevin's side 100%. Like, I'm going to get worked by this. I'm going to have fun with it. But just really dissecting it as a piece of media, we see that Kevin is still a very traumatized guy, but he also is like textbook, almost kind of narcissist in a way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like, again, that's not even me trying to judge the KO character, because I'm talking about narcissism qua like psychiatric disorder, not narcissism as like, oh, you're such a jerk, you're so in love with yourself kind of thing. No, like, it's genuinely Kevin's psychiatric disorder. Like, he thinks everything is about him or an affront to him or whatever, and he sees
Well,
the
yeah, I mean,
world
haven't we even watched like
entirely
a
through that
video
lens.
essay that literally just kind of arrived at the conclusion that Kevin Owens as a character is a sociopath?
Yeah, yeah. And what's funny is though, is like, I don't know, because again, I do like what Myth Jif says, because again, they've studied Kevin and Sammy their entire careers for a long time. And he says that Kevin has this thing where when things get too real, he stops himself. So I think part of the Kevin character is he wants to feel. See, he's, you know what it is? And I can't believe I'm saying this, but in a way I kind of believe it, and I might refine my thesis later. But I think he's what AEW so desperately wants MJF to be, but he's done right and he's done nuance, because MJF's whole thing is, oh, you know, the wrestling business hurt me and that's why I am the way that I am. You can't trust, you can't have friends, whatever. But it's like, it's so basic and it's so black and white, and there's like no cleverness to it, there's no creativity to it. With Kevin Owens, he does have the same complex as MJF, but portrayed in a compelling way. Because I do think Kevin wants to love and have friends and this and that, but he gets in his own way. That's the problem. And the thing is, like, Kevin, he can know it like in brief glimpses, like, oh, maybe I'm the problem, but it doesn't stick, right? And I also think it doesn't hurt that I think we can all agree in this room that Kevin's far more endearing than MJF is. So you can have that same complex and you
True.
can root for him. Yeah, and be like, yeah, I want you to get better. And then when he doesn't get better, you're like, God damn it, who got worked, me or you? And so, yeah, like, I'm just on a psychological level, I am loving this. I am loving what Kevin's doing. I think this is my favorite work that he's done since his just keep fighting babyface run, feuding with Roman Reigns. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. I want him to win the title. I know that he won't. I know that he won't, but I would love for him to win the fucking title, especially because, and I was thinking about this morning when I was doing my teeth before bed. And yes, you did hear that sentence right. I am still absolutely fucked. But as I'm doing my teeth this morning before bed, I'm thinking about the Kevin Owens angle, and I'm like, you know, they are talking a lot about his contract status. He's got this contract status. He's saying, I don't even know if I feel comfortable in WWE anymore. I've been there 10 years. I can't believe they disrespected me like this. Why? Because, you know, I attacked your golden boy outside of his stupid bus. Love that line. I love that Kevin brought up, you know, superstars have been doing things to each other for years. He's not wrong. I mean, Jesus Christ, Triple H's heel run in 2002 was jump started by attacking Shawn Michaels at a parking lot and damn near paralyzing him. Like, you know, so you're going to tell me that all that's okay. And Kevin does this beat down and like, oh, you're not allowed the shows. We don't want you to show up. We don't want you to do this or that. Bullshit. You know, fucking bullshit. And, you know, so they're talking about his contract status. And you know what I kept thinking about when that all clicked for me? was I would love, now this is purely a fantasy world. This is purely where we enter fantasy booking territory for me and my splooge fest here over this angle. I would love if they did Summer of Punk all over again, but with Kevin Owens. I would love if he'd win the fucking title. You'd think that he was gone. I would love to see him defend that title in TNA because they've got the TNA partnership. I would love to see, hell, dude, because I want a borderless wrestling so bad, and we are in a brave new fucking world where fucking ESPN and WWE are crossing over. UFC's got like the fucking company, this and that. Like, even if you made one call to AEW and you said, hey, how would you like Kevin and Cody on one fucking show? Because Cody as a character could say, I still have friends in AEW. They let me through the back door, and he's pursuing Kevin Owens like, you motherfucker, I want my title back. And he defended it against somebody on AEW, which maybe it's a non-finish because Cody runs in. Be the best numbers AEW's done in a long fucking time. And WWE, the win is we just get to flex. We're so dominant that we purposely showcased our WWE champion on your number 2 fucking show in the wrestling world or whatever. Like, I would love if they could just do Summer of Punk the right way with Kevin, because I think it'd be great fucking TV. I don't think any of this obviously is going to happen. I just have such a passion for possibility because of where this story is. Kevin's a disgruntled employee. He attacked the world champion. His contract's running out. So either you give him the title, and he, of course, in real life resigns, but you make it seem like he's out. Maybe he is genuinely leaving. I doubt it. He seems like a lifer with the company. But you have Cody win, and maybe Kevin goes away for a while and then he returns somehow in some context. You have a lot of options to choose from here. I think it's great. I am absolutely loving this story. I am hooked on it. I am rooting for Kevin Owens 1000%. And yeah, fuck Cody Rhodes. Fuck Cody Rhodes. I really can't wait for us to get past Crown Jewel, for him to hopefully lose to Gunther, maybe even because of Kevin. And then he refocuses on Kevin, and we do that because, and I said this years ago too, when you would have CM Punk as champion, but you had John Cena and The Rock doing stuff and this and that. These big matches you want to do, Cody and Rock and Roman and Rock, neither one of them needs the title. I said it years ago then, I say it now, and just like last time, it's probably going to have the title involved, so fuck me. But this is really compelling shit right now, and I'd like to see Kevin get rewarded for it, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, as a Kevin Owens fan, I am finally fucking eating for the first time in a long time, and it feels so good. And I'm really glad that you, for your part, commended Kevin's work here as far as the acting, because he has just been tremendous. Dude, I thought in the second video he was even going to cry a little bit thinking about how Randy hurt him and this and that. And I'm like, damn, like he's really selling it here. So yeah, I can't wait for the Cody Kevin rematch. If that happens on a PLE, I might even push for us to react to that, even though I know that Cody's probably going to retain, just because narratively, it's just so good. I have to see it like play out. But yeah, big ups to Kevin and big ups to everybody. This is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next. And yeah, that's essentially SmackDown. So I think we've pretty much recapped everything, and we even talked about AEW to start. So I think we can just move on.
Yep.
Did you do any extracurriculars this week?
Nope.
I didn't either. So now let us move on to questions. Opening up the forum.
Oh my God! It's Q&A time, everybody.
Absolutely. So any questions about this week in the world of wrestling, please feel free to ask.
Ask your adorable little faces off.
Yes. I agree with your messages, by the way, Javon. I'm reading your one about Kevin, and yeah, like I think Myth Gifs would agree with you too. I think there is a part of Kevin that feels like he doesn't deserve friends, or maybe he just feels like friendship isn't going to work out for whatever reason. Maybe he never forgave himself for originally betraying Sammy when he was El Generico. Like Kevin's such a fascinating character. Yeah, his psychology, I could dissect that shit for hours. But yeah. Anybody with any questions? Step right up.
I guess Caster Sales isn't here. Javaris, how do you feel about ZSJ beating Naito and our president retiring?
I'm excited for Zach, man. I've wanted to see what Zach could do with the big strap for a while. He's been with New Japan for a long time. Him and Naito always cook. I still haven't seen the match itself. I do want to watch it. And as far as Tanahashi retiring, big respect to him. I know I had my fun with him, in our live reactions, but much like Amayu, I've always kind of respected him as a performer. And I think him retiring is very selfless because I think he knows he needs to give 100% attention to being the president. So I wish him well. What about you, man? You got any thoughts on this?
I'm stoked for both of them, honestly. Stoked for Zach and stoked for Tanahashi. I'm glad that Zach is finally getting the credit that he deserves from New Japan after his years of loyalty. Um, really cool that hopefully they finally decided to back the correct top Gaijin horse. Um, really glad to see that they chose him and not fucking Finley ass. And stoked for Tanahashi because man, he deserves a vacation for sure. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, next question. Why? Oh wait, no. No, there aren't any other questions yet, actually. So any other questions? We are open for questions still.
Yes. Unless you guys want it to be a quicker one. It is almost 1:30. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but this is your
Yeah,
time to ask any
we
questions
have
you
been
have,
live
guys.
for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, we've gone hard this we knew what we would though, because it was 2 weeks worth of coverage, and I of course had to splooge about Kevin Owens being fucking
I mean,
amazing. So
dude, your Kevin Owens bit didn't last more than like 5 to 10 minutes tops.
amazing. Far more economical than I thought it would be.
Now that Brian is done, is it now time for real that he returned to WWE part time?
No, I don't think WWE would even clear him. I think there was somebody that even said the same thing that they don't think WWE would clear him. So it's either AEW or bust. I think he's just AEW for the rest of his career, which one unfortunate fate for him. But if he's happy, who am I to judge?
Do you think maybe he is AEW until he's ready to retire fully from in ring completely, and then he goes to WWE for like maybe like an on-screen slash managerial role? Maybe he gets to do like commentary. Maybe he gets to be like an on-screen GM type character, plus like a Legends contract.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that's far more plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he'll be back in WWE. It's just like his last match in WWE was that Roman Reigns match, which to be fair, that was a great fucking TV
God,
match. Like
that
that's a great way
program
to
was
go.
so fucking good.
It was. It was. Normally I would say not as good as your face though, but honestly, it was pretty fucking stellar.
It
So I'm not even gonna,
was.
contrast it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna give
Yeah.
anything as much credit as you give my face, a program like that quality, it definitely is up there.
Yeah. Super Blue, will you watch New Japan now? It's funny because like I was kind of talking with Javaris because Javaris and I have been kind of talking about New Japan more like in just like private Discord messages. And I told Javaris and I stand by it. Like, I'm proud of New Japan. They're slowly making right moves, but like that's not enough for me yet. And to be honest, I feel like we've got so much other wrestling on our plate that even if New Japan was putting the best product out, like it would take a bit of effort on my part to get the bandwidth to be like, yeah, let's do New Japan. But they're not even at that point yet. So no, not yet.
I mean,
Not yet.
here's the thing: we literally will evaluate the Wrestle Kingdom card when it comes out, and if any of it looks interesting to us, we'll consider reacting to it. That's what it comes down to.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I guess we'll
Well, I
we'll
feel
see
like
in
we're
just
gonna
a few
end up
months.
reacting at least to the Wrestle Kingdom main event this year because it's looking like it's gonna be uh, ZSJ and Shingo and someone else whose name I'm forgetting.
Sonata, maybe?
Yep,
I've heard.
exactly. Yep, triple threat.
Yeah.
That's what it's looking like.
Ooh, triple threat wrestling in a main event. That's interesting. Hey, WrestleMania's done triple threats. I'm not gonna begrudge Wrestle Kingdom for doing a triple threat for the world title.
Yep.
I think as long as the pieces all fit. All right. Any other questions, guys?
Going
Going
once.
once,
Yeah.
going
Going
twice.
twice.
I don't blame you, Javaris. By the way. Super Bowl asked a question. Should Trick be the one to break Cole's NXT title record?
No.
Um, no, I could see Oba being more that guy. Yeah. Trick doesn't strike me as like a dominant champion guy, especially being a babyface. Cole, one reason he had that reign was because he had a really cool fucking and legit faction by his side. So
Yeah.
context always matters. Trick
Cole
Trick has none of the context that Cole had. So no, he should not.
Cole
No.
held that title for over a year. Trick should be getting called up to the main roster in the draft in 2025.
What he said. All right,
Then again,
resetting.
so
Any other?
should Oba. So like you mentioned Oba should maybe do that. No. I think Oba should also be getting called up to the draft in 2025. So
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Any other questions? Going once. Going twice. All right, closing the gate, folks.
Oh, there's one. Christopher Leclerc. How do you feel about Roxanne Perez's title reign?
I think yeah, we've spoken about it before. I've definitely been a fan of it.
I honestly think that now that Obafemi lost the North American Championship, Roxanne Perez's current title reign is my current title reign in all of pro wrestling.
There you go. I mean, couldn't have said it better. All right, guys. Seeing as how I pretty much did close the gate, and that one came like a little bit after the closing, I'm just gonna keep it closed at this point. Seems like a bit of a slower week for you guys asking questions. I don't blame you. I think we're all just waiting for like bigger stuff to happen. So let's go to high spots and low shots. I kind of we're counting 2 weeks here, so there's no shortage of people to pick from. Um, my low shot. You know what? My low shot's gonna be Javon Evans. You lost in the main event 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, it's a
That's
really good
pretty rough.
call. Yeah.
Yes. So Javon Evans.
Mine's gonna be Xavier Woods.
Oof.
He failed miserably and also got victimized by Braun Breaker without even wanting to get involved.
Yeah.
Maybe
God,
be better to
honorary.
your friends and then they'll have your back and you won't have to worry about that kind of stuff, X.
Wow. God, I want to be confrontational, but we're almost done. Um, honorary high spot to Kevin Owens for lighting up my fucking life and doing some of the best work of his career, but actual
Wow,
high
only
spot in the
honorary.
context of
Okay.
yeah, that's why I stressed honorary because I know we like to keep high spot, low shot to a bit more kayfabe stuff. So actual high spot. You know what? Actual high spot. I'm gonna go Lash Legend because like
Nice.
she maximized her minutes, particularly this week.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, like I think she was the standout performance this week. So I know I have 2 weeks to draw on, but I'm gonna emphasize this week for my high spot. Lash Legend. Plus, to be honest, I feel a little uncomfortable with both of us having black superstars in our low shot. So I wanted to give the black, wrestling fandom some love. Lash Legend holding it down. So she's my high spot.
I appreciate that because unfortunately, I am not choosing a black superstar as my high spot. If anything, it's the opposite. It's the guy who is inspired by Nazis because my high spot is Gunta
Oh God.
because
Yeah.
yeah, he defended successfully against Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes is his next major opponent, and Cody's got all kinds of other shit that he's got to worry about, namely Kevin Owens. So Gunta has a pretty good odds at winning the first ever Crown Jewel Championship. So good for you, Gunta.
Yes, Gonta. Well done. All right. I guess that's it. So guys, be sure to leave a like if you find out, subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that Twitter goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And I'm guessing we'll have Monday Gold at some point this week.
Yeah,
Probably.
there was a show tonight. Like it's probably happening in like an hour or so.
So we
So I don't think that that's a live show though, so that probably won't be up for another few days. I'm guessing we'll either do that Monday or Wednesday, and then they have an actual live show happening on the morning. It's the morning for us of Thursday. So I don't know. Actually, let me see if that's at a decent time that we might be able to actually cover that live Wednesday night. Wouldn't that be amazing? We haven't done that in so long.
yeah. You know what time is that?
No, it's super late. Fuck.
Well, damn.
It's a 6:30 p.m. show for them, so it'll be 5:30 a.m. Thursday morning for us. So we're definitely
Damn.
not doing that. So we'll probably end up doing that either on Thursday instead of Stardom if Stardom doesn't have enough matches for us to watch, or if we do Stardom on Thursday at our usual time, then we'll just cover that Money Gold show on Friday then.
All right, yeah, there you go. All right, so yeah, I would say probably Monty Gold
Let's just
Wednesday.
assume
I'm guessing
Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday's really good because then it doesn't matter if we overrun the 8 o'clock time because it's AEW and fuck it.
exactly. So yeah, we'll do that. And then yeah. So be sure to join us for that. Be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.